All right, y'all. We can praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Let's pick this up in John chapter 5 and verse 39 of scriptures. For in them you think you have eternal life, and there they will testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you, Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Well, all praises be to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua. Let's get this John chapter 7, verse 37. Shalom. Hey, I'm going to lead with something too, I told y'all that earlier. I'm just making it plain because it's on my mind. Prayerfully, they don't offend anybody. But if you're of an offended party, I genuinely and truly do not care. You know what I'm talking about? I don't think anybody in the room is going to be offended. You know what I'm talking about? But certain people live by certain standards and codes that I do not live by. I didn't live by them before the word. Definitely not going to live them in the word. And y'all forbid I would ever come out of the word. I still wouldn't live by them. You know what I'm talking about? Because I believe in men being honorable. That's what I was taught, and that's how I was raised. You know what I'm talking about? And I told the little homie that earlier, and I told him that last week, I utterly refuse to have company with dishonorable men. You know what I'm talking about? I will not do it. I didn't do it before the word. I'm not going to do it in the word. And that's just what it is. I will not have company with dishonorable men. I will not do it. You know what I'm talking about? I will not do it. My Elohim don't do it. And when I say he don't do it, meaning that he's not going to dwell in a dishonorable man. I don't even see how men can have company or fellowship with dishonorable men. See, I ain't talking about showing mercy and loving kindness, because we can show mercy and loving kindness to enemies and dishonorable men. But if you're talking about having fellowship, I can't have fellowship with a dishonorable man. I can't do it. You know what I'm talking about? John chapter 7, verse 37. He that and Yahushua cried in that last day, that great day of the feast. No, I can't remember. In that last day, that great of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believe on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. But this spake he of the Ruach, which they that believe on him should receive. For the Ruach HaKadosh was not yet, because that Yahushua was not yet esteemed. Let's get straight to the point of what I told you I was going to mention, man. Hebrews 13:1. Somebody get John chapter 13, verse 30. Come on, man. John 13:30.
He then, having received the sop, went immediately out, and it was night. Therefore, when he was gone out, Yahushua said, now is the Son of Man esteemed, and Elohim is esteemed in him. If Elohim be esteemed in him, Elohim shall also esteem him in himself, and shall straightway esteem him. Little children, yet a little while I am with you, ye shall seek me. And as I said unto the Yahudim,
what he said?
Whither I go, ye cannot come. So now I say to you, a new commandment I give unto you.
What's that instruction?
That ye love one another.
That you what?
Love one another.
That you what?
Love one another.
Why is that?
As I have loved you.
Paul. He said, is he what? Loved you, right? Now I want somebody else, man. Come on, Sylvia. Give me Psalm 66, man, about verse 18. See, I'm going to show you something too, right? I told you, right? See, we can still show love to you even if you're dishonorable. See, there's a difference in showing love and not having fellowship with dishonor. As a man, you should conduct yourself as a man of honor at all times. It should never be an excuse or rhyme or reason for a man to dishonor himself. You know what I'm talking about? Once you dishonor yourself as a man, you no longer have any credibility as a man. God bless Brother Langford. You ain't got no more. Everybody seen Scarface. You heard what he said. It was only two things that he said he had. He said his word and his testicles. Well, you know why he said his testicles? Because that's his manhood. That's his honor. All I have is my word and my honor. And when you look in the text, what you see, Yahuwah stating that what he had, his word and his esteem. You know what I'm talking about? Yahuwah will never dishonor himself under any situation or circumstance. You cannot claim that you are a servant of Elohim and you readily dishonor yourself. See, I'm not talking about sinning. Because you already know you dishonoring Yahuwah when you sin, but you ain't necessarily dishonoring yourself. See, you only dishonoring yourself, as we read the other night, when you around here committing fornication. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's the only sin that you can do against your own body. You know what I'm talking about? And we ran down all the things that you can do. That's dishonoring yourself. See, you dishonor yourself as a man when you don't carry yourself with integrity. See, when we was looking at those things in Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16, about the 6 things Yahuwah hate, even 7 are an abomination. See, those are the things. That's a man who dishonors himself. You know what I'm talking about? That's a man. See, when you showing discord among brethren, you a man of dishonor. You understand? When your law say don't bear you no grudge, get that there so you can get the definition of grudge before we do that there. Then you know he say don't be a talebearer. That means a slanderer. So when you lie on another man, you have dishonored yourself. Now you can be forgiven, but you can never be respected. Not by men. You'll never be respected by other men. When you slander another man's name, a man know that you do not have the heart and the testicles of a man. You got the heart of a woman. You know what I'm talking about? You got a heart of a coward. You got a heart of a turncoat and a traitor. You know what I'm talking about? Especially if you claim at any point in time that that man was your friend or your brother. You cannot be respected. You can be loved, but you can't be respected. Not by men. Now, Yahuwah may respect you in your repentance, but that's between you and Yahuwah. I don't have to respect you as a man after that because I'm not going to deal with you. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not going to deal with you. Period, point blank. And I done told you, if a man don't follow that protocol in Matthew 18, boy, I promise to you, I'm going to treat you like a heathen man and a publican. And it's shalom, man. And if you feel like it's disrespect, we can fight about it. You know what I'm talking about? And you could go your way. You know what I'm talking about? And that's it. I'm not, because these niggas make me sick, man. There's too many dishonorable men who handle this word from one end of the world to the other. It's deplorable. It's disgusting. And the main reason why people in this word is not growing, because not only do you need to take on the nature of Elohim, but what did David tell his son? Gird up your loins like a man. What did Paul tell you? And understanding be what? Be a man. You know what I'm talking about? And see, that's the problem. Don't nobody want to be men, but you want to purport yourself to be men of Elohim, and you wondering why ain't nobody receiving the word at your mouth. They don't respect you as a man because you don't respect yourself. So they know you don't respect Elohim, and we need to stop standing for that, man. See, I told the brothers this on in the clubhouse earlier today. I done told y'all this the other day. I told the little homie this a couple weeks back. Man, we've been on the internet too long, having internet conversations, and we done forgot how to interact and network with people in real life. Because this stuff you do on the internet, man, that stuff not going to fly in real life. You know what I'm talking about? We don't even know how to talk to people about the word in real life because you bringing internet debates and conversations to real people. See, it's a blessing. See, all y'all sitting in this room, probably exception of you because you knew some other Hebrew, y'all don't come from that. Y'all were people who just heard the gospel and say, I want to be saved. You don't come from the internet back and forth. Shalom, East, man. So it's different. You know what I'm talking about? But get that for me, man. What's that definition for grudge in that Leviticus 19? Read the verse and call the number. Because I got something I need to say, and then I'm going to say it, and I'm going to finish with it. Leviticus 19 and 15, is it? Give me Leviticus 19 and 15. We got Psalm 66 and 18 on deck. We're going to finish this John 13, and we got Hebrews 13, man. Leviticus 19 and 15, man. Let it go. You ain't found it yet?
No, I clicked on Numbers 19.
You shall do no unrighteousness and judgment.
You should do no what?
Unrighteousness.
We were just talking about judgment the other day. And anybody that work any manner of unrighteousness, what your law say you are? An abomination. So when you come to doing judgment, it can't be no wrong. Give them unrighteousness by definition. Man, you know how many of these boys sin against you who are every day when it's come to determine right and wrong and they doing unrighteousness in it, and it's cornball goofies who sit around there and cheer it on. It's a disrespect and dishonor to our Elohim, and we need to stop giving people passes for that, talking about we all Israel. You know, brothers waking people up, we all stumble. That's why he a coward. Because ain't nobody telling him, hey, man, that's some sucker junk you doing, man. You need to cut that junk out, man. That was wrong with too many of these dudes, man. You got too many people around here who ain't men co-signing unmasculine behavior under the guise that they serving Son Yahuwah. That ain't what's happening, man. I ain't going to do it. And people around here know I ain't going to do it. That's why a couple dudes ain't here no more. Because I ain't going for what you own, man. I'm not stamping that. I don't care what you got to say about me when you slide. I don't care about none of that. You can make your mouth fry fish, but your cow behind ain't gonna look me in the eyes and say damn word about nothing I said, nigga. I stand on everything I said. You know what I'm talking about? And if you don't offended about it, you can come holler at me about it, and I'm gonna still stand on what I said. You know what I'm talking about? I said what I meant, and I meant what I said, man. And I got book to back it. And even if I ain't got no book, I stand on manhood, boy. I stand on that. Come on, man. What unrighteousness is by definition?
That's old lie, perverseness.
Perverseness. So don't pervert judgment. You know what it is to pervert judgment? That's to twist it. That's to distort it. Don't do that. Don't be the man who do that. Come on with it, man. Leviticus 19 and 15. Finish it.
Says, you shall not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty.
That's right.
In righteousness, you shall judge your neighbor.
And righteousness, you shall judge. Yes, sir. Shalom, bro.
You should not go up and down as a talebearer.
You shouldn't be going up and down slandering nobody.
Among your people.
That's right.
Neither should you stand against the blood of your neighbor. I am Yahuwah.
That's right.
You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall not in any wise rebuke. You shall in any wise rebuke your neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
That's what these brothers don't like. If somebody checking you, so sin don't be on you. But you want to be in sin. So I'm going to want you to go to hell then. Since that's what you want. I want what you want. You want salvation, I want that for you too. You want damnation, I want that for you too then, if that's what you want. Because I ain't finna beg plea to get somebody to get right who don't want to. Go ahead, man.
You shall not avenge or bear any grudge against the children of your people.
Now give him a grudge by definition.
A grudge is natar. That is to bear grudge, to keep, to reserve, to guard.
So you shouldn't be guarding no grudges, no hatred, no anger in your heart against your brother. Run that John 13. Because when you talk about neighbor, you know that's real. And you know what that means. That's friend, intimate, companion. That means your brother. You ain't supposed to do that. You ain't supposed to do that. Let me tell you something real, man. Very few people have actually had somebody who offended against them to the point like, hey, boy, you like really need to, hey, man, you need to get that right. Most people just offended by words. I didn't really like that. It hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? Or you did this, that hurt my feelings. And that's cool, because let me tell you something real, man. I don't know how niggas was raised and the dudes they grew up with. But I know the dudes I grew up with, well, if you did something and he didn't like it, he let you know, hey, bro, I ain't really care for that, bro. But you know why he did that? Man, since I was 14 years old, boy, me and my homeboys been telling each other, we love each other. And since he loved me, he gonna tell me when I'm out of pocket. You know what I'm talking about? Or at least he gonna tell me, bro, that offended me, bro. He ain't gonna tell 3-4 other cats about it. He gonna come tell me, because the love is stronger than the disagreement. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's the problem with these dudes, man. They ain't had no friends before they came in the word. You wasn't a friend before you came in the word. You just was a goofy hanging with people. You know what I'm talking about? That's what you was. Matter of fact, you was a goofy hanging with other goofies. So you in the goof troop. You know what I'm talking about? That was wrong with these dudes, man. And I said, man, I told you before, man, it's a lot of dudes, man. They ain't never been genuine with the people they been around. Come on, finish that Luke 13. No, matter of fact, give me that Psalm 66 and 18. Look, guess what, right? I ain't got to know you to love you, right? Look at, man, and I ain't just saying this because he on here, because I'm feeling mentioned plenty more other people, right? I had one conversation with Brother Dennis, who in this clubhouse right now, man. I know that's a solid dude, boy. I got love for him. I ain't never had to see this man before. He in the faith, I'm in the faith. He showed himself to be a solid man. It's love when I see him, and not because it's the word, because I can see this is a genuine individual. And you can tell that when you have a conversation with a man. You know what I'm talking about? But you know what dudes that get caught up at? Maybe they got a disparaging doctrine. I don't care nothing about that, man. I care, but I don't care. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's you, a genuine, solid individual. See, these niggas get in the word, they don't love people from the heart because ain't no love in them. Ain't no love in him. You understand me? I'm gonna go. Let me tell you something real, right? Because me and Easter had this conversation. Boy, I love that nigga, boy. Word or not. You understand me? Trav, boy, I love that nigga, word or not. His cousin Calvin, boy, I love that nigga, word or not. And I enjoy life about them niggas, man. You know what I'm talking about? And I'll take a bullet for them. See, everybody in this room, they already know what it is when it comes to them. Boy, if I fool with you, then I fool with you. You understand that? It's dudes I grew up with. I'm talking about Booby, Fat Boy, Fred, Reggie, all the niggas. Boy, I love them niggas, man. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, I done love these niggas since I was 14 years old. You understand me? Me and this nigga Fat Boy done been in the trap on the floor next to the heater in the cold selling rocks, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, they success is my success because I love that nigga, man. You understand me? And it ain't, and guess what? Them boys ain't in no word like that. I don't love the men in here just because they in the word, man. You know what I'm talking about? Every man in here know, boy, if a nigga down bad, boy, they know, boy, I can call somebody, boy, they gonna come through for me. You understand? See, we were having this conversation earlier. Niggas know, boy, if your money low or you ain't got no gig, boy, you know, well, I can call Stanley, I can go paint today. You understand me? I can get me some bread. You know what I'm talking about? I can call little Johnny boy and come clean. I can get me some bread. Nigga know you could call me, man. We could come out here. We could demo. We could clean. We could get this trash, whatever. Somebody, you can get you some bread. Nigga know they could call Will, boy, I can go out here and cut some yard, boy, or drive this truck and get me some bread. Nigga know they could call Darius, man. I could come out here and pressure water and get me some bread. And the nigga ain't gonna look at you like, yeah, man, that nigga had to come work for me, bro. Because nobody don't care nothing about that, man. Just get your money till you get where you need to be. You know what I'm talking about? So when a man, when you can turn around and you know individuals, oh, it's all love too, brother. Like you already know what it is, and you know somebody do that for you, man, and you just say that you a pussy for life. You know what I'm talking about? And you will not be respected. We ain't talking about not showing no love. We talking about you ain't gonna get no respect, because that's what men do. You understand? When he say show love, that man ain't say based off this or that or whatever the case may be. The love supposed to be from the heart. Y'all niggas only showing love because you say you in the word. So you feel like it's a compulsively obligation according to the text, so you could be saved or you could virtue signal on the internet. You understand me? Nigga, no, boy, you could call me about whatever you got going on, boy, and I'm gonna be there for you. And ain't nobody gonna know about what you had going on. For what? That don't mean nothing. Man, I'm gonna tell you this here. I wasn't gonna say, man, a pussy nigga had the nerve to say, I keep young niggas up under me so they can manipulate him. Nigga, I hope you down your own vomit. You understand me? Because boy, I done empowered every man sitting in this room. You know what I'm talking about? To stand on his own as a man and lead his own household. You know what I'm talking about? And I don't go to these men and say, you owe me for nothing. You know the only thing you owe me? Obey Yahuwah. That's all I ask you to do.
Amen.
You know what I'm talking about? Well, I don't respect that, man. I take that as a front to my manhood, to my honor. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't never told no man in here what he had to do outside of what this word say. You know what to do. You know what I'm talking about? I don't respect that, man. You understand me? I don't respect that. We men over here, man. We men over here, man. Guess what? If you out of pocket, nigga tell you, hey, boy, you know you probably shouldn't have did that. Maybe you shouldn't have said that. Maybe you could have handled that a different way. And that's for anybody in here. I ain't exempt. Anybody can say, boy, hey, bro, why you said that to that person, man? You probably shouldn't have did that like that. Ain't nobody gonna be like, man, that nigga can't talk to me like that. You ain't a man then, and we don't respect it. You know what I'm talking about? See, I done told you this before, man. It's the same thing with my man Zadok, with Talmud. See, boy, when you know you're dealing with real dudes, man, and they in the word, man, then you know you got love for them, man. You understand me? See, we can tell you, boy, I knew Zadok for almost a decade. And when I knew he was in my city, I said, boy, I got to go see my nigga, man. I got to pull up on him and go holler at him, man. You know what I'm talking about? And then y'all know we pull up on all congregations, time permitting, at all time in his love. Not we got to put on no doctrine. These dudes too flawed. And you know why I do that there? I've been doing that from day one. Because if you see me do it, then I want you to know you can do it. Because if they in the word, you ought to love them like you know them personally. If you need to know him personally for you to show love to him, boy, you ain't got God in you, boy. Who ain't in you and you a liar. But all these brews always we want to talk about where the unity at. Ain't no unity because ain't no love in you. Psalm 66 and 18.
If I regard iniquity in my heart, Yahuwah will not hear. Truly, Elohim,
No,
I've
68
heard.
and 18. My bad if I said 66. Psalm 68 and 18.
You have ascended on high. You have led captivity captive. You have received gifts for men.
You receive what?
Gifts for men.
What else?
For the rebellious also.
For the who?
The rebellious also.
So get what? His love for rebels too. Even for the rebels. What he say he do? He show mercy to the what? To the just and the unjust. To the thankful and the evil. See, we show love now. See, we ain't gonna walk around and say somebody my enemy. Because some men, you ain't even worthy to be called my enemy. Because to be called my enemy, you'd have to be my equal. You can't be my enemy and you ain't my equal. You know what I'm talking about? You just a goofy. You know what I'm talking about? Because see, y'all know, boy, it's a lot of niggas done said a lot of things about me, boy. Some things to my face. And I let that junk slide. See, niggas don't want me to call them out for the whole junk they be doing, man. Because the difference is, I ain't just going to say it on camera. I'm going to come let you smell my cologne and I'm going to tell it to your face. You know what I'm talking about? So I be letting stuff slide. Sometimes you can't let stuff slide, boy. I'm sick of these niggas, man. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. They be dishonest. Monte, you just don't know, boy. These niggas irk my soul. You know what I'm talking about? They irk my soul, man. It's a whole bunch of them, too. It's a cauldron. A cornucopia, if you will, of goofy niggas. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, sometimes you got to let a nigga know, man, stop playing with me, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'll embarrass you. Matter of fact, I can't even embarrass you because you're embarrassing yourself. You know what I'm talking about? But come on, man. That's good in the Psalm 66, man. Finish that John 13 for me, man. Then we'll get to why we here. We finished Job 27 the other night. Last night, excuse me. Look at you. You got your top hat. What kind of hat it is? A fedora? Oh, you one of them classic black people. I went to HBCU. Go ahead, man. Where you at? John 13 and what?
I was finishing up 34.
John 13 and 34 from the top. Joey, why you got your face balled up?
A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another.
As what?
By this shall all men know that you are my disciples.
That's right.
If you have love one to another.
You know what I'm talking about? And he talking about genuine. See, that love David had for Jonathan, that was genuine. Boy, Jonathan loved that man enough, boy, he put his life at risk going against his own father, who was the king. It don't state that Jonathan knew that David was going to be king after that. You know what I'm talking about? But he loved that man. And guess what Jonathan never did? He never dishonored himself. He never dishonored himself. Come on with that Hebrew 13 and 1, man.
Let brotherly love continue.
Let what?
Brotherly love continue.
See, giving brotherly love by definition, man. It probably got that agape for that love, man. That's that old gay stuff. Philadelphia love. That's what's wrong with them, boy. They want to agape. No, don't agape. Stay over that way. Come on, man.
That's love of brothers or sisters, brotherly love.
See, like I told you, right, when you talking about love of brothers and sisters, right? And remember what we were talking about the other day and said Esau broke the what? The brotherly covenant. You know what I'm talking about? See, it's a type of love you're supposed to have for your people. That's why you sit back and you see that in that Leviticus. He said, don't lie on your brother. You know what I'm talking about? Don't bear no grudge on your brother. Love your brother like you love yourself. See, that's what brotherly love is in the law. You understand? See, it's just not some made up thing that you say out your mouth. It's in the law how you're supposed to love your brother. He done told you. You know what I'm saying? But on general principle, come on, get me Matthew chapter 7, man, verse 12. And you know what it means to love your brother? He say, it rebuke your brother. Don't suffer no sin on it. Don't let him offend. If you love your brother, you're gonna check him. You're gonna let him know. You're gonna tell him, man, honor yourself and honor your Elohim. See, the biggest problem amongst our people, man, word or no word, is that masculinity is at an all-time low. And when masculinity is at an all-time low, that means honor and respect is at an all-time low, because masculinity is tied to honor and respect. Men honor themselves and honor others, and respect themselves and respect others. And when you don't have manhood, you don't have honor and respect. If you go to a man and he don't tell you that honor and respect is tied into manhood, then he ain't no man. Because guess what? Before you get a wife, before you have kids, you know what I'm saying? You a man first.
Amen.
So you supposed to carry yourself with honor and respect before that even come into play. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's why David could say the love of Jonathan surpassed the love of women, because it's a different type of love you have for your brother than you have for your wife. And these dudes ain't got that type of love, man. That's why the man say greatest love have no man in this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. See, that's different when you lay your life down for your wife. She your responsibility. When you lay your life down for your brother, that's pure love. Of course, if you ain't going to lay your life down for those in your household, why they even there? See, that's more out of duty and responsibility than for your brother. For your brother, that comes from the soul. Man, these boys ain't got that in them, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why he said if you search the scriptures, you see they talking about me, but you ain't going to come to me because the love of Elohim ain't in you. You don't love your brother. Remember what we read the other day? He said, he that sanctified and he is sanctified are all of one, for which cause he's not ashamed to call them brethren. So that means it's a code of honor that his brothers walk with, the same code of honor that he walked with. Guess what? We done talked about this plenty of time, but we done read what this man called his own disciples stupid to their face. You know what I'm talking about? Called them stupid to their face. Man, you know, we done been over that years ago, man. Why you see Yahusha talk, rigorously self-disciplined and uncompromising. That's a man you dealing with. That man ain't finna sugarcoat and play no games with you. Remember when he told him you without understanding too? He said, nevertheless, this man went off on these men. He said, man, you think I'm talking to you about bread? You forgot when we, man, you got some bruise right now. They'll be offended that he said that. What you say? He definitely looked at him like, bro, what make you think I'm talking about some bread? But you know why he did that to the men? Because I hold you to a higher standard than I hold these people to. Because I give you a knowledge and wisdom and understanding that they ain't getting. I ain't expecting this type of question from you. Because I look at you different. And I ain't said this in a long time. I used to say it, tell them people this a long time ago. You know what a lot of people probably admit? They ain't never had nobody who believed that they could be greater than what they were doing and demanded it from them. You know what I'm talking about? So you take that as offense and belittling and disrespect because you wear panties at night and you sit down to pee because your daddy wasn't around. And that's your problem. You know what I'm talking about? Because men gonna check. Get what? I could check you harshly and instruct you gently. See, a lot of men don't understand that. You can get a harsh rebuke with gentle instruction. I got to rebuke you harshly for you to understand how detrimental the behavior is. Then I'm going to teach you gently so you can understand that I rebuked you harshly because I love you, because I want you to do your best and be your best and execute at a high level. But you won't understand that because you ain't had your daddy. And if you did have your daddy, he wasn't no man, so you were scarred in that regard. Because anybody in here who done had any dealings with any man can tell you that that man will rebuke you harshly and instruct you gently. Because you need to understand the severity of your error. How your error putting you in danger. Remember what it said in Hebrews 12, that no chastening feel good at this present time, but it yield the peaceable fruits of righteousness to all those who will exercise thereby. It don't feel joyous when your daddy's straightening you. But when you get to see the fruits of why he's straightening you, then you begin to have joy because you see the benefit of why you were straightened. That's why the law, that's why Job, that's why Solomon told you to despise not the chastening of Yahuwah. That's why we read during this feast, blessed are those whom you chasten. That's why Yahushua say, as many as I love, I chasten and rebuke. I check you because I love you. See, let me tell you something real, man. You know what to make a man go off on you? When I've been telling you the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and you still ain't getting it together. Now I'm going to have to go ahead and bust you upside your head, because that's the only thing you're going to understand. You know what I'm talking about? See, I praise Yahuwah for the time I had with my granddaddy before he died. You know what I'm talking about? I praise Yahuwah for the amount of game my daddy shot to me. You know what I'm talking about? See, I praise Yahuwah for the info Yahuwah have mercy on his soul that my big homie, that big cuz gave to me before he passed. You know what I'm talking about? See, I appreciate it. You know what I'm talking about? Because there's plenty of time Damon looked me in the face and was like, boy, what is you doing? You acting stupid. You sound stupid. And then guess what he did after that? Now, let me tell you why I told you that. You know what I'm talking about? See, it's different, man. I tell you, you can always tell men who ain't never been around no men don't hang with men because they sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They soft around the anus.
Oh, God.
That's what Each put in the record, man. I send it to you. That's what he put in Be a Man. He said, I use a particular language that if you soft around the anus, you might be offended. You know what I'm saying? You know, had a lot of people say that. I don't like the way you talk. I'm a man. I say what I want to say. You know what I'm talking about? If you who would check me about it, then I'll change it up. But I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm a man. You know what I'm talking about? And if you can't take man conversation, then get from around men. Because we all men in here, ain't we?
Amen.
I would hope so. You got wives and children. I would hope so. Somebody come on around there. What I got you hold?
Matthew 7:12.
Give me Matthew 7:12, man. Let you who would be esteemed.
Hallelujah.
Therefore, all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do you even so to them.
Say that again.
Therefore, all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you,
Do to them.
do you even so to them.
Guess what? Boy, if I'm out of pocket, boy, I want you to check me, boy. You understand me? See, this is what a lot of goofies come around here. You can't say nothing to him. Any man knowing here, you can say anything you want to me, boy. Is there no air like you? See, you know what dudes used to? You can't say nothing to the pastor, say nothing to the elder. Man, we all brothers in here. Ain't that what the Lord said? You got one master, right? Even Mashiach. And guess what? And you all brethren. So guess what? If you love your brother and your brother out of pocket, you can check him, right? Didn't Paul and Peter have the same job? Paul said, boy, I had to go stand to him to his face because he was to be blamed. We don't run that type of show over here, man. That's poor leadership, man. If I can tell a man I can correct him, but he can't say nothing to me, that's poor leadership. See, I don't know where you learned leadership at. I wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught that. But you know what a lot of gentlemen do? They manifest the way that they would lead. They talking about what they would do. We don't do that over here. You know what I'm talking about? Every man get his due respect. Till you dishonor yourself. Till you around here crying like a little baby. Then we gonna treat you like one. That's what's wrong with dudes. Come on, Sylvia. Read that Matthew 7:12.
Therefore, all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do you even so to them.
That's right.
For this is the law and the prophets.
That's what?
This is the law and the prophets.
Whole text about loving you. That's what the whole book about. Come on, son.
Enter you in at the straight gate.
In a where?
The straight gate.
Where?
Straight gate.
Why?
For wide is the gate,
and what
broad
else?
is the way
That's right.
that lead to destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And many there be which go in thereat.
That's right.
Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which lead unto life, and few be there that find it.
It be few be there that find it. See, it's very few people that's going to come in to that straight way of discipline. Very, very few. Because a lot of men are offended by that. It doesn't appease to them. Come over here to 1 Corinthians 14, man. Pick me up at about verse 18. See, 1 Corinthians 14 to 18. 1 Corinthians 14 to 18. See, I done told you this before, right? You know what I'm saying? You got certain congregations, they do certain things. And that's fine. We do things how we do things when it comes to certain matters. But we ain't going to be looking at nobody sideways because, oh, they do this and we don't. Because it's all love. We don't care about that. We're not going to see you and try to contend with you about doctrine because you keep the Sabbath at this time. Or your women wear this and all. See, we don't do none of that. We ain't coming to have no doctrinal disputes if we see other brews somewhere else. Boy, it's love, man. You understand me? We don't do that. I can't speak for nobody else. And every man here in here can tell you, I ain't never told him to do that. We don't do that. You know what I'm talking about? And we pull it up on whoever, whenever, and we'll talk to whoever, whenever, because it's love, man. And you show yourself to be a genuine individual, you're going to get love from us, man. You can guarantee you that. You guarantee you that. And it ain't no facade to pretend like you this, that, there, and the third. Man, look here, man. We ain't in no building. We in each other's homes. So you got to understand that's love because we letting men in our homes while our wives and our children rest. You understand? So that's love, man. So we gonna treat you with love, man. You walking in my home. See, ain't no flogging or pretending. You know how people say, oh, them church people be fake. Look here, man. We got some people in here will look you dead in your face, don't say damn word to you, and they don't mean nothing by it. They just introverted. They don't like to talk. You know what I'm saying? They don't mean they mean and nasty. Guess what? Because they not going to be nothing different than who they are just because you came in the door. They're going to be the same person they were yesterday before they knew you, and they're going to be the same person the day they meet you. And if you meet them again, they're going to still be the same person. See, we don't do all that pump faking. Oh, we got people coming. We got to act like this. Nah, we the same way every day. You know what I'm talking about? Who you see, that's what you going to get. Ain't nobody finna pump faking flies for you. You ain't worth all that. No disrespect. Ain't nobody worth all that pretending to be something else. Ain't nobody worth that. I am who I am. You don't like it, that's fine. You ain't got to rock with it. See, that's what people's problem is. You feel like you got to make people rock with you. You ain't got to like me. You ain't got to hang with me. Save your soul. That's what you ought to be concerned with. But guess what, though? If you need me, boy, you can holler at me because it's love, man. That's for every man in here. I'm speaking for every man in here. I feel confident in the fact that I can do that. I'm speaking for every man in here, man. See, you know what dudes used to? If he hungry and he feeds you, you think he gonna go back and talk about you. Because that's what you would do, ho nigga. See, a lot of dudes will tell you when they tell my man, they probably doing this and doing that, because that's what you would do. We don't do that, man. For what? I don't care why you was hungry. I don't care why you was in that position. You said you needed something to eat. I got you. Who cares why you hungry? You said you was hungry. That's the only thing that matters. I really don't care how you got there. You know what I'm talking about? You said you need a few dollars. Well, guess what? I don't care why you need a few dollars. You say you needed it. I'm not finna give you no inquisition on why you needed it. But see, I can tell you something. From when we was in the street, man, I done told you this before, like Trick Daddy say, man, if I ain't got it, I ain't your dog no more. Well, if that's the case, I ain't got it then. Because guess what? Don't nobody owe nobody nothing in here, man. Every man in here know, man, ain't got responsibilities. If that man had it to give, then he'd have gave it to you. That means if he couldn't give it to you, he ain't got it. But guess what? Whether you had it or whether you don't have it, you still my nigga. I still love you regardless. You know why? Because I know if you had it, you would have did it. So I know if you can't do it, you're in a squeeze. It is all good, man. I still love you. I ain't going to walk off with nobody else, man. I know he had the money, man. He ain't get it to me. You a coward. You ain't no man. And that wasn't your friend. You know what I'm talking about? Because your friend, he was your friend contingent on what you could do for him or what he could do for you. You my brother because you my brother. You don't owe me nothing. Man, these dudes goofies out here, man. You know what I'm talking about? End of the day, boy. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, I'm Anthony Rogers' son, boy. You understand me? Boy, I'm Richard Bonton grandson, boy. They ain't teach me this type of stuff. That ain't in my spirit. They didn't pass that down to me, you understand? That wasn't in my DNA. So I was telling Will earlier, right? Some people done grew up with dudes, man, that whether they in the word or not, they men and they solid regardless. See, dudes get in the word, act like, oh, these sinners. Yeah, he a sinner before God, but that don't mean he ain't no man. That don't mean he don't stand on honor. That don't mean he don't stand on principles. Man, when we was just, man, we were like, just like what Pac used to say, man, we took that. That's the code of etiquette. We got a particular way we conduct ourselves, man. But we lived by a code before we got in the word. That's why when the word came, it was easy to live by it because we already lived that way. You know what I'm talking about? We already live that way, man. Man, ain't nothing to love nobody. It don't take no energy to love nobody, man. It don't take no energy to keep it a buck, neither. It don't take no energy to keep it a buck, man. It don't. People don't even understand something, man. Guess what? Let me tell you something real, right? If somebody tell you, hey, man, I just had a baby, come see my baby. That mean they fool with you. But guess what? Somebody might not tell you to come see their baby. You know why we were talking about it last night? Because everybody don't need to come to the house and have a face in your baby face. And just because somebody don't want to pull up when your baby just born to have a face in your baby face don't mean they don't fool with you. That mean they do fool with you because they know that baby don't need to have all them people in their face. You know what I'm talking about? Guess what? If you got a life event, somebody tell you, man, I want you to come through. It means something timid. That mean they fool with you. You gonna have somebody you don't fool with at your baby shower? You gonna have somebody you don't fool with at your wedding? You gonna have somebody you don't fool with at a family event? That means I told you to come through because I fooled with you. That's what the Lord told you when he told you to come through to this wedding feast, man. Come get your son to eat, man, because I fooled with you. But you don't want to come. They don't want to hear that, man. You know what I'm saying? Before I move on, right? Did Trav ever tell you what Diamond said the first time she came down here, man? She said the first time she came down here, she said, I couldn't tell whose child was whose. She was unaccustomed to that. You know what I'm talking about? She said, I couldn't tell whose child was whose. And you know why she couldn't tell that? Because ain't nobody walking around here acting like them your children. Them your children. How you going to sit around people every day and you ain't got love for their children? You know what I'm talking about? Everybody in here be getting each other babies, freshborn ones too. You know what I'm talking about? Now ain't necessarily everybody going to come straight your children. Now some of them be like, boy, I'm finna tell your dad on. But that's just because that's just how they operate, and that's fine. Ain't nobody going to be sitting around here talking about I ain't going to feed your children. I ain't going to do this. I ain't going to do that. And I'm telling you this here on the regards of, this is how these people act regardless if somebody was coming around here or not. Like they didn't just do this because a guest was here. This is everyday activity. This is everyday activity. This is what I'm talking about when the man saying in the text that you love one another. It's not forced. It's not feigned. We finna read that in Peter in a second. See, Trina just said that. She said I can understand that because I'm still learning who is who. And Tavon just said the same. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't no different. But see, that's the point. Ain't nobody supposed to be able to tell. Other than looking at family resemblance. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's how everybody's supposed to be. But see, we can go to assemblies all across the country and you don't have that. Because people there are not genuinely fooling with each other. They just there. And I got to fool with you because I feel like I have to. See, I'm not going to be nowhere where I got to fool with people because I feel like I have to. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't fooling with you because I want to fool with you, then why am I even there? I told you earlier, man, you can't call me talking about you don't fool with a nigga in the congregation and be in their face later. Man, you can get the hell on. You know what I'm talking about? Because you should have told him that. Didn't know. You called me talking down on the nigga, man, and I'm going to tell you, man, get off my phone, bro. Go talk to them. That's why, man, this nigga got cool. Remember I told you that nigga call. I said, bro, why don't you call her? What you calling me for? I don't want to hear that. How you gonna call me talking about, man, you need to check such and such? You check them. You the one got a problem with them. And I'm supposed to be your friend. You known them before you knew me. Why you ain't calling them? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. I'm harping on this for one reason. Not to make us seem like we just that there in the third, but I can bear witness to that because that's what you've been taught. And praise be to Yahuwah, you took hold to that man's words and just manifested that man's word. On top of, that's y'all natural character. See, you can't fake what you're not for too long, you're going to get exposed. If that's not who you are, you're going to get exposed. You can't fake love for too long, man. What I told you the other day, you can fake love somebody for a little bit when you ain't around them. But if you got to be around somebody for an extended period of time, boy, it's going to show if you love them or not. So I don't believe in that, man. That man say have unfeigned love for the brethren, and that's what you got to have, man, or you going to hell. Because he said now, if you don't got love for your brother, he said, boy, if you got love for your brother, what you done? You done passed from death unto life. We're going to read in a second. We're going to read in a second. Come on, that 1 Corinthians 14 and 18, man. Let Yahuwah be esteemed.
See, I think Elohim, I speak in tongues more than ye all, yet in the assembly I had rather speak 5 words with my understanding, that I might teach others also than 10,000 words in a tongue. Brethren, be not children in understanding. Howbeit in malice be ye children, but in understanding be men.
In understanding be what?
Be men.
In understanding be what?
Be men.
And with all get wisdom, and with all your getting, get what? So when you get understanding, you be a man about it.
Yes.
Be a man. Shoot, man. Come on, man. Somebody give me that 1 Peter chapter 2, man. Pick me up about verse. Is it chapter 2? Is it chapter 1? I think it's 1 Peter chapter 1, man. Give me about verse 17.
It said, if you call on Abba who without respect judges according to every man's work.
That's right.
Pass the time of your sojourning in fear.
And what?
In fear.
With respect. Come on.
For as much you know that you were not redeemed with corruptible things.
You weren't redeemed with corruptible things.
Silver and gold.
Silver and gold.
From the vain conversation.
From the vain behavior of your fathers.
But with the precious blood.
With the what?
The precious blood.
Of who?
Of the Mashiach.
As a lamb.
Without blemish and without spot.
Let's go.
Who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world.
And now it's made manifest.
In these last times for you.
Come on now.
By whom do believe in Elohim that raised him up from the dead.
That's right.
And gave him esteem that your faith and hope might be in Elohim.
See, that's a whole. See, let me tell y'all something too. For them coward whole niggas in the back. When have I ever, from the time we done been in here, has anybody told you to put your hope and trust in me? The entire time I've known y'all, where have I been pointing you to? Because your hope got to be in Elohim. My job is not to point you to me. I can't save you. And that's why I take that as disrespect when men try to put that on my name. See, I know it comes from heaven, so I'll take that. That's why I don't say too much about it. But as a man, boy, I take that as disrespect to my honor and to my manhood. Because you're trying to say that I'm less than a man when you say that, and that offends me. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I ain't just saying that just to be saying that, like, boy, who is my witness before whom I stand? That offends me. That's disrespectful to my manhood. Because that means that I would have to be conducting myself as less than a man. When you know that you're supposed to be pointing people one way and you pointing them to you, then you know that you're not a man. So he said he tell Judah them all that time how solid y'all is down there and the love that's shown between all of y'all down there. I'm a witness to it. Praise be to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like this here, man. This man, me like this here. East, as soon as I told East, boy, the wedding come, he said, let me know the date. Boy, I'm going to be there. Same way I say, man, I'm trying to put the guy, I say, man, I got to see how my money fall. We're going to have an anniversary party. He say, man, just let me know I'm going to be there. This man don't live far, don't live close to here. But that ain't even the point. Guess what, though? It's cold as all get out up there where he from. But let him try and say, boy, I need you to slide up here, boy, like on Real Deal, boy. Boy, if the money is there, boy, we on the way. We just going to have to suit up. You know what I'm saying? And they know that. And see, I'm not saying that for the internet because these men already know that. This ain't something that even got to be said. That's the difference. We're not saying this for the crowd. We already know this. You know what I'm talking about? Like, we already know this. See, any man who roll, I say I already know, boy, if you call them, look here, right? What do we read every time somebody get baptized that I always harp and focus on? Y'all remember what we like to always read? What it is, Stanley? That Job 40. He said, go on and get it for him, man. Job 40 and 19. I read this every time somebody get baptized. Praise be to Yahuwah, Tavon. No, Tavon just said that since been Yahushua from the jump street since 2015, I heard Yahushua word came to remember. Give him Job 40 and 19. This is what people don't know because some of y'all, obviously, you ain't going to know this here. Every time we baptize somebody, this is what's read. I'm talking about if we have having the service before we go and when we get out there. Come on, Job 40 and 19, man. Make it 15. Job 40 and 15, man.
Behold now behemoth, which I made with you.
Behold the behemoth.
He eat grass as an ox.
That's right.
Lo now his strength and his loins and his force and the navel of his belly.
That's right.
He move his tail like a cedar.
That's
the
right.
sinews of his stones are wrapped together.
Mm-hmm.
His bones, strong pieces of brass.
His bones are what?
Strong pieces of brass.
They what?
Strong pieces of brass.
Keep that in mind with them bones. Come on with it, son.
His bones like bars of iron.
Come on.
He the chief of the ways of Elohim.
He's the what?
Chief of the ways of Elohim.
We know Yahushua is the chief of the ways of Elohim. He's our chief and high priest. He's our prince. He's our ruler. He's the one who set the way, because he the way, the truth, and the life. See, we know this. Come on.
He that made him can make his sword to approach.
Come on.
Surely the mountains bring him forth food where all the beasts of the field play.
Go ahead.
He lie under the shady trees in the covert of the reed and fens.
Come on.
The shady trees cover him, their shadows. The shadow, the willows of the brook compass about him.
Mhm.
Behold, he drink up a river and haste not.
Come on.
He trusts that he can draw up Jordan into his mouth. He take it with his eyes, nose pierced through snares.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Hold on, I gotta go back some because we didn't get what I wanted. You already know. Let me make sure I ain't got you right. It might be Job 41. It's Job 41. That's my apologies, y'all. Job chapter 41, verse 12. That was Job 41. That's my bad, y'all.
I will not conceal his parts, nor his power, nor his company's proportion.
You know what he said? I won't conceal his what?
His parts.
Or his what?
His power.
Or his what?
Comely
They
proportion.
know he say, man, whether the most comely parts, they got to get more abundant rights. Pause. 1 Corinthians 12. Since we talking about the Ruach, because on the last day of the feast, he said, he that believe on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Because see, this is an aspect of getting that Ruach HaKodesh. Well, you're one with anybody who got it. So how you ain't going to love somebody who in the faith? That's insane. That means you say you don't love Yahuwah. That's why I told you it don't matter if you fellowship with them people, man. It don't matter if you ain't never seen them before. How you say you love Yahuwah and you don't love your brother who you can see? If they say they in the word, what's keeping you from them? That means that persuasion don't come from him that call you. That comes from the adversary. And if you going for that calling, that means the adversary dwell in you. You can't be an Elohim. You ain't gonna lie and tell me that. You're not gonna lie and tell me you are Yahuwah and you around here sowing discord among brethren. You ain't gonna tell me you are Yahuwah and you slandering men's name. You are the devil. And the problem is, it ain't no bruise telling men to their face, boy, you are the devil, boy, with that type of conduct and behavior. We don't co-sign that, nor approve. Repent and save your soul. And maybe if Yahuwah see fit, he'll forgive you for the wicked intent of your heart. You no good bastard Jew. That's what you need to be told. But ain't nobody telling nobody that. Remember what he said in Lamentations? These prophets ain't quite finding the means for your banishment. Let me tell y'all something real, man. It's better to forgive somebody from the heart than to fake it. Let me tell you something, man. It's people who I knew was going to cross me, and they were forgiven before they even did it. I already knew you were going to do what you were going to do before you did it. You was already forgiven. That's why when you did it, you ain't see me upset. Because how I'm going to be upset with a clown? How I'm going to be upset with a goofy? That means I'm going to give you more power over me than you deserve. A dishonorable coward whole nigga can't have no power over me. You ain't got power over yourself. So how I'm going to give you power over me? Because you a dishonorable fool. I will not. It's a disrespect to my Father in heaven. It's a disrespect to my father in the grave. It's a disrespect to my grandfather in the grave. Let me tell you something real, man. Boy, my daddy knew if he died, when he died, if they had his funeral on the Sabbath, he knew I wasn't coming. But you know what he said? Son, I know you got to stand on principles. Stand on them. Don't never compromise your principles for nobody. That's the type of man he was, you understand? That's whose spirit in me, as far as naturally is concerned. That's what's in my DNA. My daddy don't dishonor himself for no man. You don't compromise who you are for no man. You stand on what you stand on, even if you got to stand alone. But we done already talked about this. If father and mother forsake me, Yahuwah will take me up. Now, why don't you never open your mouth and say this a lonely walk? How is lonely if you walking with Yahuwah? It ain't never lonely if you walking with Yahuwah. You're lonely because Elohim ain't walking with you. Go for that nonsense. Come on with it, man.
It says, who can discover the face of his garment?
Who can what? I ain't called for nothing else.
Oh, no, you
1 Corinthians 12.
Yeah, 1 Corinthians 12, man. Pick me up at about verse 20.
But now many members, yet but one body.
Now many what?
Members,
But one what?
body.
Come on now.
And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of you.
Huh? Go ahead.
Nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you.
Go ahead.
Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary.
They necessary.
And those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor.
That's what. That means I'm going to extend more information, more suffering, more instruction so that you can have more honor.
And our uncomely have more abundant comeliness.
Come on.
For our comely have no need, but Elohim have tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to that which lack.
Did he say that he ain't gonna have no covering? He ain't gonna conceal his what? His parts, his power, or his comely part. We ain't gonna hide that which is honorable and beautiful. Just like we ain't gonna hide his ruach, and we ain't gonna hide the body. Because remember what they said to Yahusha? Anybody that's a Elohim, we do things what? Openly.
That there should be no schism in the body.
So it don't be no separation.
But the members should have the same care one for another.
Care one for another. See, that's what people problem is. You feel like you're only supposed to have care for your congregation in assembly. You're supposed to have care for the body. The body of Mashiach no congregation in assembly. Your congregation in the assembly is where you gather to fellowship with one another and service to Elohim for the hearing of the word. But the body knows no congregation nor assembly because the body is the assembly. That's why he say to the general assembly and the children the assembly of the firstborn. All those of the body who are born of the firstborn of Elohim, Yahusha HaMashiach is his name. Let all honor and esteem be to him. You know what I'm talking about? Come on with that Job 40, man. Where you stopped at?
Yeah, 41.
Job 41.
And 13.
Job 41 and 13.
It said, who can discover the face of his garment? Or who can come with his double brittle?
Uh-huh.
Who can open the doors of his face?
All right.
His teeth terrible round about.
Come on.
His scales are his pride shut up together.
His scales are his what?
His pride.
Are his what?
His pride.
Guess what? Every individual in the body is the pride of Elohim because you his offspring. What man don't have pride in his children? Come on, man. I know that's his excellence. His scales are his excellence. And you got the excellency of the knowledge of Yahusha HaMashiach, that by the will of man, not by the will of man, nor the will of flesh, nor by blood, but that you could be the sons of Elohim by the will of Elohim, by the word of Elohim, by the ruach of Elohim. So everybody in his body, that's his excellent part. Because you know why? Pause. Give me Hebrew 12, man. Pick me up about verse 22. Somebody get me Genesis 49 and 1 right behind that. Read that Job 41. What verse you in? Read Job 41 and 15 one more time, man. Let you who will be esteemed.
It says scales are his pride.
His scales are his what?
His pride.
And what else?
Shut up together.
What else?
A close seal.
He said they shut up together with a close seal. We'll get to that second part in a minute. But notice that he said, boy, his scales are his excellent part, right? That's what it said, right? Now get me Hebrew 12 and 22, man, and let that run.
But you are coming to Mount Zion.
You come to where?
Mount Zion.
Where Mount Zion at? That's the hill of Elohim. That means that's the Mount of Elohim. Who the only ones coming to the Mount of Elohim? Before you read that, give me Psalm 24 and 1, man. Y'all bear with me, man. That's Abigail? They cry outside. Psalm 24 and 1, man. Let you who will be esteemed.
The earth is Yahuwah's and the fullness thereof, the
That's
world and they that dwell therein.
That's right.
He hath founded it upon the seas and established it upon the flood.
Come on.
Who shall ascend to the hill of
Who
Yahuwah?
shall ascend to the Kadash hill of Elohim?
Or who shall stand in his Kadash place?
Who gonna stand in the sanctuary that was made by Elohim and not man? This who gonna stand there?
He that have clean hands.
He that have what?
Clean hands.
You clean from the word that I've spoken unto you. What else?
And a pure heart.
And a what?
And a pure heart.
What he said about a pure heart in Matthew 5. They gonna see Elohim. Well, what's gonna purify a man's heart? But the word. Man, how you gonna get your heart purified? You're gonna have to make a new one. You're gonna have to be born again. You're gonna have to make a new heart and a new ruach. That's what we've been talking about for the last week and a half. That's why I told you it's dangerous when dudes tell you you ain't gonna be born again till the resurrection of the dead. That's damnable doctrine. Because the person ain't motivated to put off the old man and put on the new one. They ain't motivated to change their mind. They ain't motivated to believe the word. I'm here to tell you tonight, believe the word and be saved. See, we ain't talking about what most brews talking about being saved, talking about coming out of captivity. We talking about coming out of the captivity of sin. Be saved from death so you can have everlasting salvation and stand in a Malkuth, a Shamahim, which is eternity, so that you can actually see your Father in heaven's face. It's been too many times I done told y'all that. I keep telling y'all, man, I know you can't imagine it in your mind, but this man said you're going to be able to look him in his face and live. That ought to be your motivation. We done talked about this before. We can't imagine a street made out of pure gold that look like transparent glass, where there be no tears, no death, and no remembrance of anything under this heaven and earth of which we presently dwell. Because we look for a new heaven and new earth where righteousness dwell, where Elohim dwell. Man, we not on what these dudes on out here, because they not on Yahuwah. They don't love Elohim, so ain't no way they gonna love you. I've been telling you that for damn near 10 years. These people don't love God. They don't love him. And it shows. They don't trust in Elohim. Do you understand the love and trust of Elohim bring a joy and peace in your heart that no man could ever be able to put into words? You can't put it into words. He said he give you a peace unspeakable. You can't put it into words. And people don't desire that, man. They don't desire that, man. These dudes don't know what it's like, man, when life get real and you don't go to complaining and whining. You just go to thinking upon Elohim and your heart get comforted, even when it don't want to be comforted. Because everybody know how that go. The word trying to comfort you, but your heart trying to resist, but it can't deny it, so you relax. See, people don't understand that, man. They ain't seeking after that, man. We seeking after nonsense to argue, fuss, and fight. I ain't arguing, fussing, and fighting about no word, man. I'm arguing and fussing and fighting for people to come out of death so they can understand the goodness of Yahuwah. They don't go. No, those people don't know what it's like for to come in contact with this man, mercy. You understand me? They don't know what, man, once you done have fellowship with this man, ain't nothing like it. You ain't trying to be on what these other people on. We don't care what these people talking about. We know what he said in Hosea. He said, I'm going to allure you with love and kindness. I'm going to speak to your heart. That's what it say. Man, when that man speak to your heart, man, it'll transform you if you let it. The man didn't lie if he said, if you turn in my reproof, I'll make my words known unto you and pour my ruach on you. That man wasn't lying. That man wasn't lying. Stop letting these people tell you your Elohim lying. This man ain't never lied to nobody in a day in eternity. He ain't got no reason to lie. You lie when you're fearful. What Elohim fear you for? What power you got to take him down? What knowledge and wisdom and understanding you can give to him? What salvation can you give to him? Absolutely nothing. So he ain't got no need or reason to lie to you. So if he ain't got no reason or need to lie to you, then everything he's telling you is the truth. Why you won't take hold to it? Come on, man. Hebrew 12, man. Where you started at? 22. Why I said 20.
Yeah, we still in 22.
Hebrew 12 and 22. Let Yahuwah be his king.
But you are come unto Mount Zion and unto the city of the living Elohim.
The city of the what?
Living Elohim.
That's right.
The heavenly Jerusalem.
The what?
Heavenly Jerusalem.
The what?
Heavenly Jerusalem.
And what Yahushua told you about New Jerusalem, what he said he'll do for you. He said he'll make you a pillar in the house of his Elohim and write upon you the name of his Elohim. And what else he said he'd do? He'd write upon you what? His new name. Because remember what we talked about in Ecclesiastes chapter 1? Everything from this age will not be remembered.
Right.
Everything from this age will not be remembered. Because remember what did he say? I'm the Aleph and the top, the beginning of the end. I make all things new. And then he said, and he that saith these things is faithful and true. What we need to remember about the old heaven and the old earth where destruction and sin dwell. What we remembering that for? It wasn't righteousness dwelling under that. The faith of Elohim wasn't dwelling under that. What we read the other night. But when the son of Adam returned, will he find faith on the earth? No, you know he ain't going to find faith in every man under the earth. Everybody in the Malkuth of Shamahim going to have the faith of Elohim in them. No exceptions. See, dudes be more worried about doctrine than those who actually believe in Yahuwah. What I'm going to sit here and fight with somebody who believe in Yahuwah with every ounce of their soul? That don't even make common sense. That don't make common sense. You trust in Yahuwah, and I'm finna argue about you. Why you keep your feast days on this day? Got to be the goofiest nigga in captivity. Come on, man.
And to an innumerable company of Malachim, To the General Assembly.
To the what?
General Assembly.
Of what?
An assembly of the firstborn.
Assembly of the what?
Firstborn.
Of the what?
Firstborn.
Why is that?
Which are written in Shamahim.
They written where?
In Shamahim.
No, they ain't written in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they written in the book of life. I done told everybody this before. We sold it in the text. If it's nighttime, where you at? I just want you to open up your window. I want you to look up at the heavens above. And every star you see in the sky is representative of somebody's name written in heaven. And if you who would be merciful, that's your name you see. I want you to understand that. Every star you see in Shamahim right now is representative of somebody's name written in heaven. And if you who would be merciful, you looking at yourself. Don't let these fools be around here with this nonsense, man, that you don't see the goodness and mercy of your Elohim right before your face. These people foolish, man. I need you to understand that. Every time you see a star in the sky, that's representative of a name written in heaven. And if Yahuwah be merciful, that's your name. Don't let nobody take your crown. Don't let nobody take salvation from you. Don't let the devil trick you out of that. The devil and his minions. Don't let them people trick you out of that. Boy, Yahushua told you it's your father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. It's his desire to give you reign and dominion. Don't let nobody take that from you. Praise Yahuwah, Tabon. That's why I tell you that when you think of it, you think of your Elohim and not just stars in the sky and it's pretty. I told you many years ago, every time you see the sun rise, it's representative of Yahushua resurrected from the dead. That's why in Lamentations of Jeremiah, that man told you his loving kindness and his mercies is every morning. I told you that so you can remember that's another opportunity to put off the body of sin and put on Elohim, that you have been redeemed. Not for you to worship the sun, but for you to understand what the son of Elohim has done for you. By looking at the works of Elohim and seeing the works of Elohim, by bearing witness to the works of Elohim, because his works is in all his creation. He manifests the gospel in the heavens. Ain't that what he told you in Psalm 19? It go from one end to the other. That means that no flesh can get away. People talking about, what if they ain't never heard the word? They ain't got to hear it because they seen it in creation and denied his power. That's what it say. Now read that verse you in again, Sylvia.
To the General Assembly and Assembly of the Firstborn, which are written in Shamahim.
They written where?
In Shamahim.
What else?
And to Elohim, the judge of all, and to the Ruachs of just men
made what? Made what?
Perfect.
So remember, right? He said it's the General Assembly, the assembly of the firstborn men whose names written in Shamahim, right? Firstborn son, right? Now give me Genesis 49:1 and look what the law say about a firstborn son. That goes in accordance to the Job 41 and why we read Hebrew chapter 12. And I just want the ladies to know, y'all ain't exempt because we already talked about that, did we not? But in case you don't remember, he said male and what? Created what? And then he said that he called their name. So guess what? And guess what the woman is with the man according to Peter? She a co-what? And that's why he said there's neither bond nor free, Yahudim nor Greek, nor male nor female in Yahushua HaMashiach, because he made a male and female, created he them. Therefore, the woman inherit too. Because I've been telling you, stop letting these pussy niggas tell you you can't be saved if you ain't got no husband. You don't need no husband to be saved because the husband don't save you. You're saved by the word. And you guess what? If your husband ain't got the word, he got to get it from the preacher. So if you ain't got no husband, guess where you got to get it from? Because see, a lot of brews don't want to hear that. I'm the teacher of my wife. That man said, how can you hear except they be sent? Because that's what the book say. Everybody don't got the word. But see, this the thing. Just because somebody got the word don't mean he going to rule over you. If he got the word, it's because he a faithful steward and he wants you to be saved. That's why Yahuwah gave it to him. But see, these men so cowardly and so dishonorable and so doggone coochie scared because they scared this woman gonna leave them because they really projected and manifested what they would do if they was in that position and had the opportunity to do it, which is slide other men's wives, which is slide single women. They telling you what they would do because they don't got love for the people. See, they like Eli's sons. They want to lay with the women in the tabernacle. They don't want you to be saved. Mass majority of the people handling the word don't want people to be saved. Just like we were telling the sister, they was like this here. See, you're supposed to look out for the fatherless and the widow. Number one, if you had a child out of wedlock, that you ain't no widow, baby. You just a woman who had a baby. You know what I'm talking about? And your child ain't fatherless. You're only a widow if you was married and your husband died. Your child's only fatherless if his daddy died. But see, I only mention that to say this here. Why the man got to be with you to look out for you and your offspring? So you want to look out for that doesn't mean he got to be with you. Why we equate that to that? Because we carnal and selfish. We think everything got to be with that. You mean to tell me as a man I can't look out for a child without being with their mama? I can't look out. Guess what? And we know what the book say. Who's supposed to look out for the widow? Her grown behind son. You can't be no widow. You in your 20s. That ain't what the book said, did it? You can't be. You got to raise grown children. Cause guess what? Your grown child's supposed to be responsible for you. That's what the book say, right? It say let your sons or your nephews tend to you before the assembly. Then the assembly is supposed to care for you, not an individual man. But you know why we don't have that type of mindset? Because we don't rock with each other as one. So you go to thinking somebody got to be with somebody in order to do what's right before Elohim. That's the problem. Let me just share that with y'all who don't know what I'm talking about. All that the man give you qualifications now. But see, we don't want to hear that because that's just Paul's letters. You just a wicked bastard. See, let me go ahead and read it to you in 1 Timothy 5 and 9. Let me pick up 5 and 8. No, 5 and 9 is fine. He said, let not a widow be taken into the number under 60 years old, having been the wife of one man, well reported of good works, if she brought up children, if she lodged strangers, if she washed the faithful's feet, if she received the afflicted, if she done diligently and followed every good work. But the younger widows refused. For when they began to wax wanton against a Mashiach, they will marry. So get what? He already know that. To be considered a widow, you got to be 60 years old. You know why he say 60 years old? Because the likelihood of you getting another husband is probably significantly lower. Because if you become a widow in your 20s, guess what he just said? You're going to wax more. You probably going to get married again. Listen what he say after that, right? Having damnation because they cast off their first faith, withal they learn idle, wandering about from house to house, and not only idle, but tattlers and busybodies, speaking things which they ought not. I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, and give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. So guess what? That woman should give forth children. When he say guide the house, it don't mean lead it, take care of your household. Do what a wife is supposed to do. For some have already turned aside after the adversary. If any man or woman that believe have widows, let them relieve them, and let not the body be charged that if any relieve them, that they are widows indeed. See, your people supposed to handle that before the body do. Not she supposed to get another husband. I'm supposed to do that and be her husband. If you're a single mother, you're not a widow. I've heard too many brews tell people that and teach people that. If you're a single mother, you're not a widow. Because if your husband didn't die, how are you a widow? How does a widow become somebody who had a child out of wedlock? How does that happen? Well, you know how that happens? When we try to justify bad conduct and make people feel and not allow people to understand that there's consequences for your actions. As I was telling them sisters, right? It's not to disparage a woman who had a child out of wedlock, but you have to understand, and I gave them the analogy of if a man go to prison and he become a felon, he know that there's certain disadvantages he gonna have in life based off the choices that he made. And you just gonna have to accept that. See, what we don't like is you feel like the world should have understanding for choices that you made. And you don't want to deal with any negative consequences for any choice that you've made. The choices that you made are the choices that you have made. And you're going to have to come with those choices. That's just called being an adult. Genesis 49:1.
And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you which shall befall you in the last days.
That's right.
Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob,
That's right.
and hearken unto Israel, your father.
Listen to me.
Reuben, you are my firstborn.
You are my what?
My firstborn.
My what born?
Firstborn.
What else?
My might.
My what?
My might.
And what else?
And the beginning of my strength.
And the what?
Beginning of my strength.
And what else after that?
The excellency of my dignity.
The excellency of my what?
Dignity.
The excellency of my what?
Dignity.
Give him excellency and dignity. We'll just give him dignity. Didn't we just read his scales are his excellency? Well, if you his scales, that mean you in his body. And if you his body, that means you the assembly of the firstborn. Like we read in Hebrew 12, right? That means you would be the excellency of his dignity. You understand? And what does Reuben name mean by definition?
Behold the son.
What the definition for dignity is?
That is eighth. Elevation, exaltation, dignity, swelling, uprising.
You are the excellency of my excellency. See, a firstborn son to a man is a big deal.
Yes.
And guess what? What does the law say about the firstborn? Who they belong to? The firstborn that come from what, though? Out of the matrix. That means the womb. See, we done talked about this before. A man can have multiple firstborn sons if he had children from multiple women. You know what I'm talking about? Now, of course, we don't co-sign that, but we just talking about people in the world. You know, you got men who got kids from different women, and each one of them women done had a son. And if that's the first son that came out of her womb, that son belonged to Yahuwah. That come out of that woman. You know why that's important? Because Jerusalem is the mother of us all, and Yahusha is the first begotten of the dead. He the first one to come out the matrix. That's why he belonged to the Father. You understand that? You don't? How you don't understand that? Man?
When you said it, I was like, I don't understand.
Well, that's okay. Let's help you out. Give me Galatians chapter 4. Why you hitting me, Ruth? Why you hitting me, Ruth? Why you hitting me? Ain't nothing wrong with you. You just want to cheese. You just want to cheese. That boy ain't never had peace. You know I ain't peace because you ain't my daddy. Shalom, bro. You ain't my daddy. Hold on, we got Harlem seeing his daddy. He ain't good right now until he get his daddy. See, now he good. He just seen his daddy close up. What you mean it ain't right? I mean, don't be upset because shoot, Joanne do that sometimes. You know, you cool and all, but there go my mama. And I want to go see my mama. She woke up this morning rolling on me like, ain't no titties over here. I need to go. Am I lying? She would definitely like this here because she used to boop, they go to nipple. She said, hold on. This ain't the same. You got to go. So can you explain how this passage doesn't support God, the mother? And of course. No problem. No problem. Because you got people who say that means that the land is. See, the God, the mother thing come in that because these boys worship Gaia. You know what I'm talking about? They worship Gaia. That's the Mother Earth goddess. You remember that? The little green face hoe. Mm-hmm. Galatians 4:29, man. I thank you.
Amen.
4:13.
4:29, Galatians.
But as then he that was born after the flesh
So that
persecuted
might not
him.
be it. Give me 4:24. We still holding Job. Matter of fact, hold on, y'all. Let me finish this Job 41 and 15 before we read the Galatians. Finish this Job 41 and 15. Job 41 and 15.
It says his scales on his pride shut up together with a close seal.
So we see that with a close seal, right? We already read, right? And in that 1 Corinthians 12, that it don't be no schism in the body. And if it's a close seal, that means it's a close covenant. You understand? Well, and I mentioned it to reiterate this here. We read this every time somebody get baptized. Because the reason being, because we had some people acting a fool. The first time that we focused on that was February 2016. We were down there on the beach when Brother Otis and a couple of other people got it right. And what I told you, don't never again allow Satan to come in and creep in and separate nobody. You know what I'm talking about? Don't let that happen. That can't happen. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man.
It says they are joined one to another.
They join what?
One to another. They stick together that they cannot be sundered.
They stick together closely that they can't be broken up. Come on.
By his neasing a light.
That's good.
Shine.
You see how he said they stick together that they can't be split asunder. You got to stick together.
Yeah.
If you in the body of Mashiach, you stick together. Has your elbow ever ran away from you? Has your forearm say, you know what, I'm out? Have your knee ligaments jumped out of your kneecap? You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to be like that because your body just don't say, you know what, I'm out. Well, that's the same way the body of Mashiach supposed to be. They supposed to stick together. They supposed to stick together. It's the same token I tell people, man, we'll baptize anybody. If any of you brothers on this stream or on Clubhouse say, man, I want to get baptized, we'll baptize you. And guess the only thing I'm going to ask you, you believe that Yahushua the son of Elohim? I can't tell you if you do, if you don't. I'm going to explain to you what you're doing. It's on you what you choose to do. And guess what? Just because I baptize you don't mean you got to turn around and be in this congregation. Because that ain't book. You know what I'm talking about? That ain't book. Them men baptize people all through in the book of Acts, man. They ain't never say, oh, you got to learn from me. Well, remember what Paul said? He said, I'm glad I ain't baptized none of you. He said, some get back. He said, I'm a Paul. I'm a Barnabas. I'm a Cephas. He said, did any of us die for you like Mashiach did? No. Y'all don't belong, because I baptized you don't mean, I didn't baptize you in my name. I baptized you in Yahushua's name. That means you can go congregate wherever you want. Because I know, man, I told you, man, my homeboy told me that, man. He was like, yeah, man, you know, if you get baptized, you got to be a part of their congregation. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot, I got you, bro. You let me know, man. Shoot, I got you, man. That's a light matter. If you can make your way down here by Yahuwah's will, man, that's nothing, bro. That's a light matter, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're obligated to be saved. You ain't obligated to get the word from me. That ain't what the book say. That's not what the book say. It's a few people we done baptized, man. Them people don't be around here every week. When I'm talking about they don't live down here on no stream. I don't be like, man, I baptized that nigga. You don't even who cares? You know how lame you got to be to do that? Boy, it's people who I done baptized that disrespect and dishonor me. You know what I'm talking about? And I don't say nothing about them. So I hate when a nigga be like, I know y'all be talking about me. Boy, you ain't that important. If you think another man, look here, man, it's three things I think about off the top. I say four. One, that's Yahuwah. Two, that's my wife and my child. Three is the people in the room. And four is my money. I ain't got enough time to be thinking about no another grown man. If I got another grown man on my mind, that must mean I want his wee-wee. And I don't like wee-wee. I ain't being funny. I'm ever so serious. If you sitting around thinking about another man like that, that means clearly you have some type of sexual tension with that man, that you must want some type of sexual dalliance with him. And I don't find men attractive. Not enough to be thinking about him, much less talking about him. Nigga, who is you to be thinking about? I got a family. I got brethren. I got word to preach, and I got money to make. I ain't got time to be thinking about no other nigga. Nigga, you ugly. What I'm thinking about you for? For real, man. There's something wrong with a grown man who think about other men. There's something wrong with you. Man, I used to tell you that, man, we used to go to the club, man, them niggas want to fight. The times I would go with these niggas, I'd be like, bro, all these women in here, bro, and y'all want to fight? What's wrong with you, man? It's a multitude of whores in here, and you thinking about fighting with a dude. How a man on your mind? All these women in here and a man on your mind. Something wrong with you, man. I ain't never understand it. You know what I'm saying? All these women in here, you look at that nigga over there, look at that nigga. That go them such and such niggas. You niggas weird.
Was that crunk music you listen to?
It wasn't no crunk music back then. In 2001, it wasn't no such thing. 2000, them boys they were just young, want to fight. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Felt like they had something to prove. I was like, that's why I don't go to the club now. You know what I'm saying? Come on with it, man. What I got to hold?
Galatians 4.
Give me 4 and 24, man.
I started 22 for the full context.
Go ahead.
For it is written that Abraham had 2 sons, that one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman.
That's right.
But he of the bondwoman was born after the flesh.
That's right.
But he of the free woman by promise.
Come on.
Which things are an allegory, for these are the 2 covenants.
That's right.
The one from Mount Sinai, which gendered to bondage,
That's
which
right.
is Agar. For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, which entered to Jerusalem, which now is, and is in bondage with her children. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free.
Jerusalem, which is what?
It's free.
Is what?
It's free.
And is what else?
The mother of us all.
See, the mother of us what?
All.
Why is that important? I'll tell you why it's important. What is Eve called? What her name means? Get Genesis chapter 3 for the people who don't know. Genesis 3 and 19. Genesis 3 and 19. Genesis 3 and 19.
In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread.
Give me 20. We want to get to the point.
Yeah. And Adam called his wife's name Eve.
The what?
Because she was the mother of all living.
She the mother of all living. It just called Jerusalem the mother of all living also. So how is Eve and Jerusalem synonymous? Because everyone who is born of Eve. Because everyone is born of Adam's seed. So no matter what anybody want to say, your mother is Eve, your father is Adam, because you come from Adam's seed, and Adam and Eve birthed who? She birthed Seth. You know what I'm talking about? And you emanate from Seth, who and emanate from Enos, you know what I'm saying? And all the way down. So now we go back to Jerusalem being the mother of us all, and how Yahusha is the firstborn of the mother of all living, because he would be who? Seth, because he would be your compensation, your substitute, because Elohim has given me another seed. You understand? So somebody get me John 19, pick me up at verse 38. Somebody else get me Colossians chapter 1, about verse 14. Somebody else get Revelation chapter 1, probably about verse 14. So we got what, right? We got John chapter 19, verse 38. Colossians chapter 1, about verse 14. Revelation chapter 1, about verse 14. This is John chapter 19, verse 38.
It said, and after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Yahushua, but secretly for the fear of the Yahudim, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Yahushua.
That's right.
And Pilate gave leave, and he therefore and took the body of Yahushua.
What did he say?
And there came also Nicodemus, which was at first came to Yahushua by night, and brought a mixture of myrrh aloes, about 100 pounds.
That's right.
Then took they the body of Yahushua and wounded with linen clothes and the spices, as the manner of the Yahudim is to bury.
That's right.
Now in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden, and the garden was a new sepulchre wherein never man yet laid.
Where never man laid.
There laid they Yahushua therefore, because of Yahudim's preparation.
Notice it said he was laid where? In a where?
Garden.
In a garden where no man had ever been laid. Where was Adam laid at? In a garden that no man had ever tilled. You know what I'm talking about? So then also remember in John 19, 8, what happened to Yahusha? What did they do to his side? And he had a piercing on his side, just like who? Like Adam. Now, what's the difference between Adam's piercing and Yahusha's piercing? Adam was closed. Yahusha's wasn't. Remember what he told Thomas, stick your hand where? In my side, and be not faithless, but believing. Why is the purpose of that? Because it was showing you when Eve came out that she's the mother of all living. The woman was birthed of the man. Yasharal was birthed of the man, which is the second Adam. So he playing both roles. He playing Adam and Eve at the same time because male and female created he them because the body was in him the whole time. Because remember what he said after Eve was made. What prophecy did he lay? He said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And what did Paul tell you? We speak a great mystery. Somebody get it for me. Ephesians 5:30. See, praise be to Yahuwah. See, we give thanks because we have understanding. See, we understand the mysteries of Elohim. What does that mean, mystery? The secret. He said he ain't keeping none of his power concealed. That's what we read in Job, didn't it? That means all his secrets manifested to his servants. Praise be to Yahuwah. Come on with that, man. Ephesians 5:30.
For we are members of his body.
We are what?
Members of his body.
We are what?
Members of his body.
And what else?
Of his flesh and of his bones.
Of his what?
Of his flesh and of his bones.
What he said when he resurrected from the dead. A ruach don't have flesh and what? As you see me have. Remember, right? What did Adam say? Get it for me. Genesis 2:22.
It says, in the rib which Yahuwah Elohim had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto man.
That's right.
And Adam said, this is not bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh.
Said what he said that? Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. What's the key denominator in both of them that ain't being said? No blood. What did Paul write to the Corinthians? Flesh and what? Cannot do what? Because what's the blood? What does the law say is in the blood? But see, what did we read last night? It's what that make you alive. So guess what? What made Eve alive? It was the ruach that she got from Adam. Remember we talked about that last night? He had to give her the very breath of life that was in him, had to be passed to her. So the very breath of life that's in Yahushua had to be passed to Yasharal. Do you see how that works? Do you understand? So what are you paying attention to? What you seeing is the mystery that Paul writing about. How Yahushua is being Adam and Eve at the same time because male and female created he them. Because not only is he Adam by dying for his wife, but he Eve because he would be the mother of all living because everybody got to pass through that womb in his side. Remember, we talked about this before. You remember when your man was in the park? When we talked about this man giving birth? He said, shall he shut up? That's what he said. Shall he close the womb? That's what Isaiah 66 say. Did he close his womb? No, he did not. He closed Adam's. He didn't close Yahushua, though. He didn't close that. Somebody get it for him, man, for the people who don't know, man. Y'all in the room, y'all already know. 66 and 5, man. Isaiah 66 and 5, man. Let Yahuwah be esteemed.
Hear the word of Yahuwah.
Hear what?
The word of Yahuwah.
What's that word, man?
That tremble at his word.
That's right.
Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let Yahuwah be esteemed, but he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. A voice of noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice of Yahuwah that rendered recompense to his enemies. Before she travailed, she brought forth.
Before she what?
Travailed, she brought forth.
What she brought forth?
For her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child.
Who heard such a thing?
Who have seen such things?
Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Remember, how did the earth bring forth in one day? That's why you see the men resurrected from the dead after his resurrection. In the Matthew 27:50, didn't it say many of the saints that slept arose after his resurrection? He brought forth in one day. That's what the book say. Come on with it, man.
Shall a nation be born at once?
Shall they be what?
Born at once.
For
Zion travailed.
She did what?
Brought forth her children.
So guess what? When he travailed, he said, my Elohim, why are you forsaking me? He was having birth pains. See, we done talked about this before with the ladies, remember? That 1 Timothy 2, when he says she'll be saved in what? Oh, well, I deal with it too since we talking about it. I ain't going to leave it left undone. Make sure everybody can understand. Keep on going, son.
Shall I bring to the birth?
Shall I what?
Bring to the birth.
And not cause?
To bring forth.
Say of who?
Yahuwah.
And when he bring forth, what he going to do?
And shut the womb.
Say
your Elohim.
Did he shut Yahushua's womb? Did he close it? So I guess what that means. He the mother of all living because everybody who born got to be born through him. Because they say it's got to be a mother God for goofies. Your vagina work. Guess what, man? You doing all that and you still ain't getting no coochie. Because pandering to women ain't going to get you that vagina. Being a man will. I say that not because you don't have to say good things about your woman, that you ain't got to respect and honor your woman. What I'm saying is when you try to pander to women, women don't like it because they know you're not a man of integrity, honor, and respect. They would rather you conduct yourself as a man. See, women desire manhood because they know that it's power in manhood because women like power. You know what I'm talking about? That means they like a man who is in control of his life, control of his mind, control of his lust, control of his finances. And you don't have to necessarily own a business to do that. You just got to have the discipline to control yourself and direct yourself with discipline, structure, and order. And you can get you a woman. But you boys think telling them without, see, it didn't get you the coochie in high school, it ain't gonna get it for you now. You know what I'm talking about? Just be a man, and the right woman will come along for the ride with you. Because we already know what the book say, a prudent what? Wife come from who? So you'll get you a wise woman, man, long as you serve you. You'll get you a good wife, man. You ain't got to be stressed and impressed by that. That man say seek the kingdom first. Man, we act like it's a difficult thing for this man to give you a wife. Giving you a wife is nothing. That's nothing. You know what I'm talking about? You so worried about getting a woman who you can climb on versus getting a woman who gonna serve you and keep peace in your house. Not peace because like dudes say give me peace, but peace because it'll be two believers in Yahuwah in the house. So therefore what gonna be in there? Nothing but peace. See, if you got you a sinner woman, you can't have no peace because what does your Elohim say? Ain't no peace for the wicked. So if she ain't got no peace, you ain't gonna have none. Not because you wicked, because she ain't got none. So that's going to bring chaos in your house. But if she's a believer in Elohim and you a believer in Elohim, then you will have shalom. So therefore the authority attached to chaos and sin will be destroyed. And therefore there'll be peace in your house. We know from time to time you may not see eye to eye and things of that nature. We ain't talking about that. We talking about not having peace in your house. It's something I had to tell these brother the other day, man. You know how shameful it is that people act like, man, two people can't be married and actually coexist peacefully. That individuals just got to have knockdown drag-outs and be mean and angry with it. Why do you think that that's the way that life and love should go? Because that's what these people done told you over here. Man, we know sometimes you're not going to see eye to eye. Come on, man. Anybody you love, sometimes you're going to have disagreements. That's fine. But why you got to sit back and be like niggas hating each other, yelling at each other, talking about marriage is tough? Well, it should be tough enough the way you're fighting and talking about, see, we talking about, marriage got hard time. Why the hard times got to be knocked down, drag out? Why the hard times just can't be the difficulties that come with life that you're navigating through? You know what I'm saying, man? That's what the hard times should be. Not no, I hate you. I hate you. No, there's a problem going on here. That means we ain't got two adults in here who can iron out problems. Yeah, they're going to be problems. That man, ain't nobody said it wasn't going to be no problem, but it shouldn't be to the point where we just around here just utterly disgusted and being vile, rude, malicious, and spiteful to one another. Right. Talking about we working through the hard time. That's not hard times. That's foolishness. And it's foolishness because, especially if we in the word, no matter what we got going on, we should be able to iron that out. Because before you my wife, you my brother. You my sister. You know what I'm talking about? Because I got to care for your soul to be saved. I just happen to say I want to go through life with you. You know what I'm talking about? But we should be able to iron that out to not put our souls at risk by usually things that ain't even that serious. Because when we sit back and examine a lot of things that we be going back and forth about, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your family members, whether it's with your brothers, you know what I'm talking about? A lot of times, a lot of the stuff that we be upset about ain't even that serious. And you know when some people find out it ain't that serious? When they got to go down to the medical examiner's office and ID about it. That's when you go to realize it, boy, it wasn't even that serious. You know what I'm talking about? When you got to go ID that body, or you got to go stand over that casket and look at that dead body, then you realize, man, the things that we was really upset with each other about, it really wasn't that serious. We could have really just sat down and ironed that out. But see, we don't understand that because you think somebody gonna be alive until you realize, boy, they gone, and then you can't reconcile that. You know what I'm talking about? And when I say you can't reconcile it, meaning to understand that, was it really that serious? Like I said earlier, a lot of the stuff, man, it don't really be that serious. Most people ain't really crossing nobody to where it's that serious. You just upset or you offended. And you can just say, man, I'm upset or I'm offended. And then you can be like, well, why did that upset you? Because the reason I say that is most people, if they love you, they're not purposely trying to upset you. They're not purposely trying to offend you. Because if I did, then I didn't love you. I don't love you. I'm not going out of my, you know how goofy you got to be to go out your way to offend somebody you love? Like to do that on purpose. So that means most of the time, most people, I'm not trying to offend you. And of course, we know if you love them, then you're going to be like, hey, shoot, okay, because I don't want to offend you because I care about you. You know what I'm saying? And all that done did go back to the text. It just all go back to the text, man. But like I say, man, most people ain't got love in their heart for real. You know, a lot of people don't come from families where people love each other, man. You got to understand that. So it's going to be difficult for them to come into it with the word. A lot of people their daddy didn't love them. Maybe their mama didn't love them. So guess what? They don't really love their siblings. Maybe their grandparents ain't love. You know what I'm saying? If that's who raised them. That's why they don't really love their friends. But see, if your people loved you, then when you go out here and meet a mate and meet your friends, guess what you end up doing? You love your friends and you love your mate because that's what you came from. You know what I'm saying? So you have a genuine love for who's around you. You know why? Because see, when your people love you, guess what you end up doing? You love yourself. And when you love yourself, you're going to love those that's around you. See, we can sit in here and crack jokes all day, but nigga know, boy, nigga love you. So that means whatever you got going on, I ain't going to look at you no different. You know why? Because we all flesh and blood. And everybody done had a low moment. Everybody done had something they had to deal with. And guess what a friend supposed to do? Just be there. But see, you know what a lot of dudes want you to be? See, they want you to be there perpetually for what they got going on. For every problem they got, they ain't got no solution for it. And see, I'm not participating in that. I'm not participating in that. It's all good if you got problems, man. But how we gonna fix it? How can we work together to help you iron that out? And if you ain't trying to iron that out, you can get out my face. You can get out my face. Tavon says, I understand that whatever rules the home is the mindset of the house. Lead with peace, love, and kindness, etc. Mind is peace, and it feels that way. Anyone who's lived or came by, say it. I am big on it. You just got to think about that, man. No, I keep telling you, man, I done told you about my people love me, man. So ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? I ain't see my daddy every day. My daddy loved me, though. Every time I was in it, I ain't never feel like my daddy ain't love me. Every time I was in his presence. And I ain't talking about no emotional love. You know what I'm saying? My daddy showed me love, you understand? I only knew, look here, man, my grandma died when I was 6. So that means I only got like 12 months of actually remembering her presence. But I remember my grandma loved me every day that I was alive that I can remember. You know what I'm talking about? My granddaddy loved me every time I was around him without fail. And it wasn't I talking about some emotional stuff, man. I knew this man loved me based on what he did, based off what he taught me, based off the things he showed me. You understand? That's what you need. Man, don't you know something, man? That these children be looking for your validation. Do y'all understand that sometimes your children move up, they be looking for your validation? And guess what you're supposed to do? Validate them when it's necessary. You know why? Because it builds their confidence. And when they're confident, guess what? They're going to love themselves. And ain't nobody going to be able to do them any kind of way. For sure, Shayla. They ain't going to be able to do you any kind of way. If you can't tell your children seeking your validation, that means you ain't paying attention. I heard that say, my granny always made sure she showed me what love looked like, so I can't go making no excuses. But come on, man. What I got you holding? We good in Isaiah 66.
Yeah, the Colossians.
Colossians 1 and 15, Revelation 1 and 14. Colossians chapter 1, verse 15.
Who is the image of the invisible Elohim, the firstborn of every creature?
The what?
Firstborn of every creature.
What else?
For by him were all things created that are in Shamaim and that are in the earth.
That's right.
Visible and invisible.
Come on.
Whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him.
That's right.
And he is before all things, and by him all things consist.
Come on.
And he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead.
He the firstborn from the what?
Dead.
The firstborn from the what?
Dead. That in all he might have the preeminence.
See how he the excellency, because he the first. Not only is the firstborn of all creation, he the firstborn from the dead. That's how he would be the excellency of be Reuben. Because what did Reuben name mean again?
Behold the son.
It also means something else when you read it in the text. Go, somebody get Genesis 29, man, and read it out loud. It might be Genesis 29 and 20. If Genesis 29 and 20 ain't it, just let me know what the verse is. Genesis 29 and 32.
And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben.
What it say?
For she said, surely Yahuwah have looked upon my affliction.
Surely Yahuwah has looked upon my affliction. And what did Yahushua say? It behooved Mashiach to suffer. What did it say? He became a son because he learned obedience by the things that he what? So he became Reuben. And because he became Reuben, he became the excellency of his dignity. And his scales are his excellency, meaning those who put on the body of Mashiach are saying, I'm willing to take on his sufferings. That would make them the general assembly, the assembly of the firstborn of those whose names are written in Shamaim. You understand? This is how you sit back and see how he's the firstborn from the dead, being born of Jerusalem, coming out of the ground, just like the first Adam came out of the ground, and Yahuwah put breath in his lungs. And all those that are born of him get breath in their lungs the same way Eve got breath in her lungs by being born of Adam. See, I know people don't let the woman give birth. See, we're not focused. See, it doesn't matter if a woman give birth. A woman don't have no life in her. See, I know brothers don't want to hear that in these days and time, but guess what? We the woman, and we don't have no life in us. See how that works? Because the life is where? In the seed. The life is not in the womb. The life is in the seed. A woman's eggs don't have life in them. See, a woman's eggs is symbolic of a man's heart, because the eggs are useless without the seed. Well, a man's heart is useless without the word. He said, the seed is the word of Elohim. Ain't that what he said? And he said the sower do what? So what? Seed. So he scattered seed in the ground. And he say some bring forth good fruit. Well, how the woman gonna bring? What does the word actually call children coming out of woman's womb? The fruit of her womb. Well, the fruit is a byproduct of the seed fertilizing the soil, or the seed fertilizing the egg. See, that's why the 5%ers call the woman the old earth. That's why they refer to her as the earth. You familiar with that? You from up that way. You may not know. I'm not saying you may not know him. No, none. Because just because you know it don't mean you ran across them God body dudes and had no conversation with it. But I know you got a higher chance because they headquartered up there. That's why I said that. Not because you from up there. I know you got a higher chance to meet them up there, or to come across them, or to be familiar with at least they lingo. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never heard a nigga up your way say, that's my earth, or that's my wisdom. I mean, it's also a little bit for your time because the people in your age group don't really talk like that no more. Versus like say I was young and you had Wu-Tang and Brand Nubian and all those dudes, and the majority of dudes, whether they rapped or not, they talk like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say that. Cause I know the younger New York cats, they don't really talk like that. What do you say, man?
They don't talk like that no more.
Yeah, that's why I said that. I ain't trying to be funny, I'm dead serious. Because like I said, Clarence 13X and the Nation of Islam and even the Nation of God, they in New York. Even though the Nation of Islam, Detroit, Chicago, you know what I'm saying? But they got a heavy presence in New York. And the dude, Clarence 13X, that started the Nations of Gods on Earth, he splintered off in New York. That's why you'll see more God body cats in New York than you probably see anywhere. You know what I'm talking about? But they would call the woman the old earth, and I fertilize in the soil and all. That's why they say that. You know what I'm talking about? And it's really more so in line with Tavon said he got a few in the family. And the crazy part is them God body cats be wicked as hell. They be doing all type of sinning type. They ain't got no code of conduct, just a bunch of psychobabble and mindless philosophy. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Because they be out here committing crimes. How God committing crimes? Committing murders, whoremongering, all type of stuff, man. That don't even make no sense. You ain't even got no code that you live by. It's just, you the God, man. He said, man, Adam and Eve, none of that stuff is, you know what I'm saying? He said, if a man was to flip himself inside out, God, he'd fall out and die. Of course you would. You'd be flipped inside out. That's actually a something that was on Ghostface album. When they do the Papa Wu who passed away, he just talking. And he was like, ain't no Adam and Eve, none of that, God, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. No, that was on Iron Man. That was right before the song Black Jesus. He told about Adam and Eve, ain't none of that. He said, don't you know a man would fall out and die if he see the stuff that goes on? So I'm the creator of all this? No, you ain't the creator of nothing. Right. You know what I'm talking about? But like I said, the womb has no life in it. A man's heart has no life in it without the word. So you need the man who carries life to give. See, everything that's done is done in the image and workings of Elohim. As a man, I don't have no life in me. The life is in the seed, and the life is in the word, and he is the word. Because in the beginning was the word, and the word was with Elohim, and the word was Elohim, and in him was light, and the light was the life of men. So life is in him. So I'm lifeless until he impregnates me with his seed, which would be his word. Remember, we talked about that with the ejaculation in Leviticus. Because when you receive the seed, which is the word, now you got to be what? Washed. Which means you got to be immersed. You got to, because now you clean. You got to be clean because you done conceived seed. Praise you, Lord. Man, this man word is most excellent. That's why I always get offended at dudes that talking about, the Bible come from the white man. The Bible plagiarized Egyptian. Man, get your ignorant behind out of here, boy. You say that because you lack understanding. Because when you gain understanding, you see the mercy of Yahuwah is all through here, man. And ain't nobody like our Elohim. You don't disrespect my Redeemer, compare them to no man who wanted to ejaculate on lettuce and sodomize a man. Don't you dare. Don't you compare my Elohim to no grown man who married no 9-year-old girl and who have sex with a sheep. Don't you dare. We take that as an offense. And since we stand on the name of Elohim, since we stand on Yahushua, well, we going to say something about that. Say, I can't speak for other brews, but we don't let disrespect slide. We don't. You know why? Because I told you last night. Somebody get me that 1 Chronicles 16, man. 1 Chronicles 16, man. I don't know what verse I want, man. Tell me what verse 5 say, man, and I'll see from that. 1 Chronicles 16:5, man. Praise be to Elohim, man.
It say Asaph the chief, and next to him Zechariah, Yahalil, and Shema Muroth, Yahalil and Mattathiah, Elib, Benaiah, Obed Edom, and Yahalil.
Yeah, you can go straight to 7, man.
It say, then on that day, David delivered first this song to thank Yahuwah unto the hand of Asaph
Mm-hmm.
and his brother.
That's right.
Give thanks unto Yahuwah, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people.
Talk about him. Come on.
It says, sing unto him, sing songs unto him, talk ye of all his wondrous works.
You shouldn't be ashamed to talk about how this man died and resurrected from the dead and sent forth the Ruach HaKodesh unto all those that believe and obey him.
Esteem ye in his Kadash name, let the heart of them rejoice that seek Yahuwah.
What the heart of them ought to do?
Rejoice.
And he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Come on.
Seek Yahuwah.
Do what? Hold on. Do what?
Seek Yahuwah.
Seek what?
Seek Yahuwah.
And what else?
And his strength.
So seek his faith and trust in his name.
Seek his face continually.
Come on.
Remember his marvelous works that he hath done, his wonders, and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Yasharal, his servant, ye children of Yaakov, his chosen one.
He is Yahuwah.
Are Elohim.
And his judgments are where?
All in the earth.
Come on.
In all the earth. Be ye mindful always of his covenant.
Be mindful of his covenant. Keep that in your mind.
The word he commanded to 1,000 generations.
That he made with who?
Which he made with Abraham.
And his oath.
Of his oath to Isaac.
And confirmed.
The same to Jacob.
For what?
For a law.
And for what else?
And to Yasharal, the everlasting covenant.
Okay, come on.
Saying unto thee, I will give you the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance.
Listen what he say.
When ye were but few, even few, and strangers in it.
And when they went
from nation to nation,
from kingdom
to another people,
he suffered
no man to do them wrong.
Yea,
he reproved the kings for their sake.
What he said?
Touch not mine anointing.
Don't do what?
And do the prophets no harm.
Hold on. What he say not to do?
Do the prophets no harm.
No, before that.
Touch
Shalom, Sister Kelly.
Anointing.
Don't touch my anointing. Remember we talked about that last night, right? When you receive the anointing of the Ruach HaKodesh, he said, don't touch them. He said, don't do my people no harm. Come on, man. What Balaam told the king of Moab about Yasharal? You remember what he said? He said, I can't curse who done blessed. He said, he told me to bless and I'm a bless. Boy, if the Ruach HaKodesh on you, can't nobody curse you, nor do you no harm. You know what I'm talking about? And if they do you some harm, that man gonna kill him. Remember what he did to Amalek when he sought to do you harm? He said, I'm gonna blot his name out from under heaven. Don't think that that's not no game, you understand? You can't be around here fooling with the people of Yahuwah and think that ain't nothing gonna happen to you. Understand something, right? You his offspring. Somebody finish that Ephesians 5:30. See, I know people don't want to hear that. I'm here to tell you. See, don't get caught up. What if I go to jail? If I die, why he let me die? He ain't never said you wouldn't die. Because you wouldn't be dead, fool. Those that live and believe in him will never taste death. You believe that? He said, don't have fear for him who can kill the body. And after that, that's all he can do. Don't worry about that. But just know that nigga gonna die. Remember what Jeremiah said? Do with me what you want to do. But just know my blood on your hands, though. Come on, man. That man told you in Psalms, he said, precious in the eyes of Yahuwah is the death of all his saints. That means it's valuable, it's esteemed, it's worthy, it's meaningful to him. That man coming to see them. Remember what he said? That you can wash your feet in their blood, that you might know it's a reward for the righteous. What did it say in Babylon when they went to sing it? Avenge all the blood of the saints and all your apostles that's been shed on the earth. He said, how long will you avenge our blood? He said, take these robes and these palms and rest for a little season. Don't worry about that. I'm coming to see him. He said, even though he bear along with them, I'm going to avenge them speedily. Man, don't let these people lie to you, man. Don't let these people lie to you. See, we ain't talking about this here on some Israel tip. See, we talking about this on some household tip. We talking about the sons and daughters of Elohim. What man ain't going to avenge the blood of his household? You got to be a fool to think this man ain't going to avenge the blood of his sons and daughters. You was willing to lay your life down for his word, and you think he ain't gonna kill the people who killed you? You think he ain't gonna toss them people into hell who put you in the grave? Or they gonna burn. That's how they give you confidence to stand on the word even unto the death. The people gonna meet they were in, man. They gonna get their recompense. You don't need to be worried about that. That should be the least of your concerns. Well, your Elohim is a man of his word, and he gonna hold fast to it, and they gonna meet their end. We read about it in Deuteronomy 32 last night, didn't it? They foot gonna slide. Stop letting these people make you to believe your God a liar and he ain't gonna do nothing. See, they upset because he ain't gonna do nothing for them because they don't obey and they don't believe. Ephesians 5:30, man.
For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother,
And do what?
shall be joined unto his wife,
And become what?
one flesh.
He that's joined to the Lord is one ruach. We read it last night, didn't we? Come on.
This is a great mystery.
This is a what? This is a great secret.
But I speak concerning a Mashiach and the assembly.
I speak according to Mashiach and the congregation.
Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife, even as himself.
See how we understand that? We know it's flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone.
And the wife that she reverence her husband.
See, we know they won. So we know Yasharal was one with the second Adam when he was in Jerusalem. That's how she could be the mother of them all, because he came out the hole, out the matrix. That's why he belonged to his father. See, get that there one for Doris, that man. Exodus 13. 13:1, so she could see that.
It says, and Yahuwah spoke unto Moses, saying, sanctify unto me all the firstborn.
To sanctify who?
All the firstborn.
All the who?
Firstborn.
That's born of what?
Whatsoever opened in the womb among the children of Yasharal, of man and of beast.
You see how he the first begotten of the dead, and he came out that womb, so he the firstborn of the matrix, or the firstborn to come out the earth or resurrect from the dead, and that's that works. You understand? It's no big deal. You saying I ain't understand, it's not a big deal. You know what I'm talking about? Revelation 1:14. Because y'all should already know that. If you don't understand, you say something, and we'll go through it. I don't want y'all to be sitting there. I don't understand what none of that means. I ain't gonna say nothing though. I ain't gonna tell you to go in the bathroom and slap yourself. I'm gonna slap you. Because you sitting there knowing you ain't understanding, you ain't say nothing. I don't want none of y'all to do that. I don't want none of y'all to do that on this stream. I don't want none of y'all to do this on this Clubhouse app. If we going through something, if you on Clubhouse and we going through something and you don't understand it, you raise your hand and you say that. I don't want you to put it in the chat. I want you to raise your hand so you can say that, so you can say, this is what I don't understand. Can you explain this further? Don't sit there just like, I don't understand. That's unacceptable. You know what I'm talking about? If you own this stream and you don't understand, you need to put it in the chat so we could go through it. And if that don't help you, then I'll give you my phone number. You could call me and we could go through it. Don't you be sitting there talking about you don't understand, just looking at a screen. That's unacceptable. No, don't do that. It's not, no, I don't want to stop him from what he's doing. I'm not here for myself. So if you don't understand, open your mouth. I ain't nobody gonna look at you. Look at this dumb nigga right here. They don't understand. Ain't nobody thinking about that. Don't nobody care. It's probably been at one point or another that everybody in this room say, I don't understand that, man. Could you explain that further? I don't understand what that means. And ain't nobody, I ain't never said, what you mean you don't understand? Of course you may not understand if this is the first time we done went through it. Now I'll put you just as an example. Now, if we were talking about the just man falling 7 times and he been hearing this for 7 years and he don't say he understand, I'm going to kick him in his butt. Because I know you understand. You done heard it too many times. That's different. He done heard it. But guess what? The first time he heard it, he made it like, man, I don't understand. Could you explain that further? See, that's different. Maybe even a second. Maybe even a third. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm just using that example because he done heard it for 6 years. Or even another, if we were talking about preaching to the spirits in prison, he done heard that for 6 years. That's different. How you without understanding, you've been sitting here the whole time. You know what I'm saying? But if you ain't never heard it, no, absolutely not. Ain't nobody finna say nothing to you. It's the first time hearing it. Or especially if we didn't You know what I'm saying? Go all the way through it. Like then, okay, we can go all the way through it. You mentioned something with it, but I don't understand. We didn't go through it. So guess what? It's still an element of what we're talking about, because not only did that benefit you, that may have benefited somebody else. And that's why you don't sit there and don't say nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Don't do that to yourself. This ain't high school. We be like, I ain't gonna raise my hand and not say nothing. Don't do that. That don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? That don't make sense. Don't do that. Because you're not robbing me, you robbing yourself. Don't take from yourself. That's what we here for. Are we not here to get an understanding? Well, if you don't understand, then say that. Because that's what we here for. We're here to get an understanding. We ain't just here just to hear me talk. You're here to get an understanding of the man who can save you. So don't never shortchange yourself, because you get understanding. If the man didn't want you to be saved, he wouldn't give you no understanding. So guess what he told you? He told you to seek understanding, didn't it? So if he told you to seek understanding, that means you might have to say, I don't understand, and I need that. I need that understanding because I want to live. Revelation 1:14. We finna get ready to get off of here, man. I appreciate everybody who done came through all week. Let me also say to the ladies, as you always do every single time, we definitely appreciate your labor and your planning and all of that stuff. You know what I'm talking about? I know you might not get it every single time, but you do it, especially Little Muffin. Little Muffin been going strong, coordinating and operating. You know what I'm talking about? She definitely have. You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate each one of you ladies every single time that you go ahead and prepare that food. Except for you. Not for you. I enjoyed your selection. And I ain't just saying that, I really did. Next year.
I got you.
No, I don't think y'all ain't never made nothing like that. What that was? That now the chili was cool. That junk burnt my mouth. It was hot. She didn't tell me. You went by yourself. I went. No, not burnt. No, not burnt like it was spicy. Like we wasn't expecting it to be that warm, to be that hot. Like we knew it was gonna be warm, but she gave us real chili. Like that junk was piping. Shoot, we had. Look, hey, I ain't gonna tell you no lie. The roof of my mouth still is burnt. You know what I'm saying? And then that chicken that yeah, y'all Korean chicken.
Yeah.
That was good.
Oh, chili was on point. You know what I'm saying? See, some of y'all, you like this here, sip like I'm from up north. We eat that warm stuff. You know you like it. We know you like chili. It make me feel warm. It don't get cold enough to eat food to make me feel warm.
We don't eat it that hot.
What you say?
I said, I do like
What you say?
We don't eat it that hot. I burned my tongue too.
Well, I ain't gonna lie though. Chili's supposed to be hot like that though. That's the crazy part. That's why I ain't think it was that hot. That's why I ain't think it was that hot. That's why I went in like. Oh no, I'm just serious, right? Because most of the time, when it be hot, it let you know. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shoot, I wasn't thinking it was cold or lukewarm, but I wasn't expecting that high of a temperature because it wasn't nothing telling me that it was that hot. I'm like, dang, I can't even enjoy this. I done burnt my tongue.
Taste buds
gone. You know what I'm saying? Revelation 1:14, man.
His head and hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes as a flame of fire.
That's right.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they were burned in the furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword.
That's right.
And his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength.
That's right.
And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead.
Come on.
And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me,
What he said?
fear not,
Come on.
I am the first and the last.
The what?
The first and the last.
Come on.
I, he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am
live
alive.
forevermore.
Amen. And have the keys of hell and of death.
Uh-huh.
Write the things which you have
That's
seen.
good, right? I didn't want you to hear. He said, I'm he that was alive and was dead forevermore. You can go up to Revelation 1 and 5 real quick, Brother Martin. We're going to get ready to get out of here, man. 1 and 5.
And from Yahushua HaMashiach,
The faithful,
witness,
the first,
begotten of the dead,
mm.
and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us, and washed us from our sins in his own blood.
See, look at this here, right? Again, the first begotten of the dead. He's the excellency of his strength, the excellency of his dignity. And that's why all us got to be conformed to his image and put it. See, we talked about this many years. Go on and tell him what that is, Stanley. What you got to do? Who you got to put on? No. We ain't did it. We ain't went over it in a long time. You got to put on who? And who that is? You got to put on Esau. Y'all remember that? We just ain't talked about it in a long time. That's why I can't blame. You got to put on Esau. What does that mean? He said the elder will serve the younger, right? Mm-hmm. And it was time to get the blessing from Isaac. What Rebecca said, do? Go get some, go put some skins on so your daddy can think about that's your brother. And what it said about Isaac's eyes at the time, he couldn't tell no difference. And why is that important? Because when the Father in heaven looked, for purposes of the text, his eyes are dim. He ain't gonna be able to tell the difference that you Jacob or not. He feel Yahushua, then that's Yahushua. He gonna give you the blessing. Meaning he feel Esau, then he just gonna give you the blessing. He didn't know that with Jacob. It said his eyes were dim. He couldn't tell. All he know it feel like Esau.
Sound like Jacob.
Sound like Jacob. Feel like Esau. Sound like the perfect man dwelling in tents. Feel like the firstborn. Let me give him the blessing. So you got to put on Esau. You got to put on the firstborn to get the blessing of the firstborn. Meaning what you just referenced, which is the first point of it, which we'll go to it later, the Romans 13 and 14, you're going to have to put on Yahushua HaMashiach and make no provisions to fulfill the lust of the flesh thereof. You're going to have to put on the Son. You're going to have to put off the body of sin and put on the body of Elohim. And then you'll be in the general assembly, the assembly of the firstborn. You understand? See, I told you, this month right here, this make 10 years. But see, the name didn't, when did it come? I think it might have came before that. I can't remember. Yeah, it had to be before that because it was atonement. I done told you this before. It was me and Nell. I remember this when here because Nell say she got woke up out of sleep and say to go to Walmart, a specific Walmart. And she was hard-headed and she didn't go. And she found out that Walmart was closed. She went to the Walmart that was closer to where she at versus the one that she said came to her mind to go to. And that one was closed. You know what I'm saying? And she told me after that point, that's it, she knew that if she believed and perceived that it was a word coming from Yahuwah, she was going to do exactly what it said. You know what I'm talking about? And then, of course, I'm not going into detail. We did what y'all know we do on atonement area. You know what I'm talking about? And we was in Hemet Plaza, and the police came to me and said, y'all with the church? I said, yeah. He said, what the name of it was? And that's what came to mind. And that's why it's called what it's called to this day.
Praise the Lord.
You know what I'm saying? Spirit point blank. That's what I told him. You know what I'm saying? That came to mind, and we went on about our business. You know what I'm saying? And we wasn't posted up like how we were posted up. We were riding all out east. We was in the Blue Monte Carlo, bending corners. You know what I'm talking about? Popping people off, serving. You know what I'm talking about? Serving bricks, hitting the corner. You know what I'm talking about? Well, straight up down. That's where it came from. If you didn't know, that's where it came from. That's how that happened. So I want to say, yeah, that was before we actually did a stream. Because we didn't do a stream till Tabernacles 2012. And that's not on this channel. That's on Jesus for True Freedom. You know what I'm saying? Amen, Brother Langford. Yeah, you got to go to Jesus for True Freedom. That's what that's at. That's 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing this 10 years. You know what I'm talking about? And we've been the same way the entire decade. When we started, it wasn't nobody but me, Nell, and Lil Muffin. That was it. For True Freedom, number 4. That was Nell channel that she had stuff on. You know what I'm saying? And shoot, it was Tabernacle, and she was like, "Hey man, we were finna have service," and that nigga had the camera set up because I remember that. I came downstairs, I ain't had nothing but a tank top on, and I was like, "Well, if you gonna have the camera on, I'm gonna have to go put a shirt on." You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna get on camera like that. That ain't. Cause I'm thinking, cause we in the house, nigga. I ain't feel like you gotta be dressed in the house. But on camera, nigga, that's unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? Now we were dropping word before then, but not like that though. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, we gonna get up off of here. We gonna say hallelujah for Yahushua. Bless everybody out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Say, yeah, Tavon just mentioned his 3 channels. See, the other channel is my first and last name, but that's just because Dwight made that channel. And when he made it, I was like, well, dang, man, why you put my name on it? You didn't need my name. You know what I'm saying? He ain't mean nothing by it. I just, I ain't know he was going to do it. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, I didn't know. I mean, shoot, nigga, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just came in here one day, nothing new, like, shoot, hit a Ustream and hit a channel. So you blind. Well, it was linked, but then I forgot what happened why we couldn't use that channel no more. No, I'm talking about the channel with my name on it. Something happened where we couldn't use it no more. I forgot we couldn't get into it, and that's why this channel is here. Those are the 3: Jesus for True Freedom. Yeah, definitely good. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I appreciate all y'all, man. I bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I appreciate all y'all that wrote out for the entirety of the week. Yahuwah willing, Wednesday at 7:30, regular time. But also remember that Shabbat night will start at 8:30 versus 9 o'clock. We at that split difference time. And then y'all willing, when time go back, we'll start at 8 o'clock on Shabbat until time go up or whatever they call it. You know what I'm talking about? But I definitely appreciate y'all, man. You were willing, man, prayerfully that you got some understanding out of the word. You know what I'm saying? We do this because we love Elohim, we love his people, and we want people to actually have fellowship with him and understand his goodness, his mercy, and his righteousness. There ain't nothing like it. You know what I'm saying? And that you can actually be clothed with your tabernacle, your AKA, your booth from on high, and have fellowship with the immortality that's in the Ruach of Elohim. You know what I'm saying? Amen, Trina. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because I can't speak for other dudes, man. I don't know what other people really got going on, but I just know here, man. But we here to disseminate the word that your faith might be strengthened. That's all. I might say some things you may not. Well, why you got to talk like that or this, that? That ain't the point. You know what I'm saying? I state because that's exactly how I see it. You know what I'm talking about? We're not trying to offend nobody, but at the end of the day, boy, we here to dispense the word. That's it. If you're looking to be saved, then this is the block and the trap to come cop from. If you're not, then you know what I'm saying, I ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. You know what I'm talking about? It's not a big deal, man. There's plenty of people out here. Man, Yahuwah got servants all across the globe. Don't let nobody lie to you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't the only one. Never thought I was the only one. Wouldn't dare utter out my mouth from the only one, knowing my only man on earth with some understanding. All I can tell you is make sure whoever you copying from, that's good work you get. And that's work that comes from on high for the deliverance of your soul. Because your soul is the most important thing. That's the most important thing, man. If you're not trying to deliver your soul, I don't know what you're doing this for. That's the same way I used to tell dudes when we were hustling, man. Like, if you ain't trying to get no money, what you out here for? Because I'm out here to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Why would I be risking my freedom selling rocks if I ain't trying to get paid? I'm trying to get paid. You know what I'm talking about? When it came down to starting a business, hey, man, I ain't doing this for fun. I ain't talking about why my friends and family don't. Man, I'm trying to get paid. I ain't got time for that. We're trying to get some money, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and I had the same mentality coming into the word, man. I've been in the word for 13 years, man. I'm trying to be saved. If I wasn't trying to be saved, what I'm in it for? Man, I can remember it was just me, Fat Boy, my nigga Smiley, out there Sundance Point sitting out there, man. And I told them, boy, I say by all means, boy, we got to get the spirit. I ain't say I got to get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm out there with them. I'm like, boy, we got to get that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've been cycling through the text. I see that that's the most important thing. I ain't get that from no YouTube video. I wasn't sitting around watching camps and all that stuff, man. That's not no knock on nobody who wore. I wasn't on the internet doing that. I ain't had no access to it. My mom ain't had no laptop or no computer in the house. I couldn't sit back and watch no videos. Man, I'm going through the book every day. And Yahuwah saw fit to open my eyes that I could see it.
Praise the Lord.
You know what I'm talking about? That's the only thing I can tell you. And I was reading that text and I could see, boy, we got to have that. And I used to tell them that every day, boy, we got to get the spirit, man. We got to. Ain't no other way. We got to get that, man. It's necessary. It's imperative. So I extend that same message to you. You got to have the same mind, man. I got to have it. What is it that must be done for me to attain it? And let me do that. Because I got to have it. You know what I'm talking about? It's life in the spirit. And that spirit is birthed from the seed. And that seed is the word. So let that seed fall in your heart and bring forth the life that you can get the lungs to give you life like we read last night. Just like Eve got the lungs in her. Got the breath in her lungs, I should say. But again, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Yahuwah willing, man, till Wednesday. We're going to slide on out of here.
Amen.
All y'all on Clubhouse, man, I appreciate y'all, man.